It is 10:01. Good morning. I'm Lucas Panzica from the 104.5 The Zone studios. While the NFL draft is in the rearview mirror, UDFAs are finding landing spots across the NFL. The Titans have reportedly signed multiple players, such as Tennessee running back Jabari Small, Washington running back Dylan Johnson, Texas Tech guard Cole Spencer, Tennessee cornerback Gabe Jeudy-Lally, and NC State kicker Braden Narveson, just to name a few. In NFL news, the Kansas City Chiefs gave tight end Travis Kelce a new 2-year contract on Monday worth over $34 million, with over $17 million guaranteed for this season. And the Las Vegas Raiders are signing free agent wide receiver Michael Gallup. The former Dallas Cowboy inked a 1-year deal reportedly worth up to $30 million. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
We got a playoff game tonight, but I don't know if it necessarily feels like that around here. Welcome in this morning. The Preds have the opportunity to try and, no pun intended, claw their way back into a series against the Vancouver Canucks. A very disappointing result in Game 4. We're going to talk about Game 5 this morning. 615-737-1045 is the number. If you want to jump in, we'd be happy to have you. We got Jackson, we got Lucas, we got your phone calls throughout the course of the day. We're with you until 1 o'clock. You've got the F&M Bank chat to live stream the show as well. Choke job in Game 4. I don't know how you slice it any other way. Pretty disappointing to have everything in hand, 3-1, and then have that slip away in front of you, 4-3 in the overtime, and have the third period result, basically the last 3 minutes of the game, result in what it did. Missed opportunities, power play inefficiencies. It's not even inefficient. It's just non-existent to date.
Jinx.
What, are you going to finish my sentences now that you're in here? I don't like that at all.
I'm going to try to do that now as often as possible.
Yeah, like we don't talk over each other enough. Good morning. How is everybody?
Who provides more drama tonight? The Nashville Predators in making this series interesting, or the next episode of The Young and the Restless?
Oh, man. It was electric yesterday when I was walking out of the studio. Do we know the actor's name, Liberty Bibberty, other than that is who that person is?
I don't want to.
Insurance commercials. You don't care to share this man's accolades with the world? He had all of us, Blaine, Mickey, you, me, Joseph Jackson, all locked in on the television yesterday, because famously we don't watch SportsCenter during the show. We watch Price is Right and My Soaps.
I don't want to know his name. He is Liberty Bibberty.
Excited for today's episode. Should be electric.
I'm still trying to figure out. The problem is we watch these things with the sound off, and I don't know if his mom died, that they found her wrapped up in a body bag, laying strewn in some warehouse. I don't know who the other person was in the scene with Liberty Bibberty. I don't even know the guy's name. All I know is I'm hooked, and you didn't even have to turn the sound on yesterday, but you're not here to hear the recaps of the soaps. You're here to talk playoff hockey. Does it feel like there's a playoff game today, boys? Because I'm trying to find a little juice. I'm looking for it. Not that we can't, manufacture something if we need to. We're going to have a very interesting discussion today about Cedric Gray, the new inside linebacker for the Titans. We'll kind of work our way through these rookies before rookie minicamp gets started next week. But if there's a playoff game locally, I want to get into it. I don't want to take the postseason for granted, but I do feel like collectively, Nashville felt like I got kicked in the groin.
There will be juice if there is use. UC Saros, we need you tonight. Dig us out of Vancouver and at least bring it back to Nashville so we can end this godforsaken home playoff drought. That's 5 straight home playoff losses for the Nashville Predators. Going back to the Canes series 2 years ago, of course, swept by the Avs. The Canes, that was 3 years ago, swept by the Avs 2 years ago, and now back-to-back losses against Vancouver.
D. Good in the YouTube comment says, Canucks by 4. Okay, that's reassuring. I don't know. I feel like I want to grab everybody around here, like just, the audience collectively by the shoulders and kind of shake you a little bit and wake you up if I can, if there's any sign of life. If nobody else has a pulse, I'll let it go. But I still want to get excited for a potential Preds playoff game. They did it in Vancouver already. They're doing it again. I haven't seen anything differently about a different goalie starting in net tonight for Vancouver, even though they're on their third. It sounds like it's going to continue to be the third string guy.
Yeah, there's no injury designation for Casey DeSmith. Rick Tocchet would not provide any injury details about DeSmith, so I don't know who's playing goalie tonight for the Canucks. I guess if you're going to draw if you're looking for inspiration for tonight, it's that the Preds were the better team in games 3 and 4. They just had breakdowns at the worst possible times, obviously, especially in game 4. Gentry Estes wrote it pretty well on the Tennessee end. The Preds have made their entire identity. The buzzword around the Preds has been relentless, and they have been out-relentlessed by the Vancouver Canucks in the most pivotal moments of these games.
All right, so we're going to have Alex Doherty or Chris Mason or somebody smarter than me about hockey come on here and explain to me how much of this is strategy, all right? Because I'm listening to one of my favorite things to listen to, and you can probably tell for those of you who listen to the show on a regular basis. I listen to the Dan Le Batard show every day. Miami, right? That's Miami sports. They talk a lot of local sports on the Le Batard show. And they're talking about the Florida Panthers, who sent the Tampa Bay Lightning home last night, and the almost unanimous chorus from the crowd there in Miami was, thank God Andrew Burnett's not the coach here anymore. And I'm not smart enough about hockey to be able to understand that. I know there's some similar themes to how these leads have been given up. And I know, we've talked about Jussi and his physical size and how that can be a detriment in certain settings, especially if you're able to screen him effectively and whatever, especially if you can't get bodies in front of him the way that they have not been able to do, where they just look disorganized at the end of these games when they're playing with the lead. So if it's a strategy thing, somebody smarter than hockey, smarter about hockey than us is going to have to come on here and tell me, because I'm not able to discern that just watching these things.
Well, the context behind that is Andrew Burnett took over the Florida Panthers as an assistant. He was the interim coach in that 21-22 season. They won the President's Trophy.
Because what happened? Wasn't their coach swept up in some kind of scandal a little bit? Am I misremembering that?
I can't remember how his tenure ended.
There was something. I feel like there was something sketchy around the Florida Panthers coach at the time. Anyway,
there were some controversies.
We don't have to bog this down.
But Andrew Burnett took over. They won the President's Trophy. They were the 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. They get to the Eastern Conference semifinals, and they're swept by their arch rivals, the Tampa Bay Lightning. By the way, a wrong that was righted yesterday with the Panthers beating the Lightning in 5. So hockey in Florida now apparently belongs to the Florida Panthers.
Rats everywhere on the ice.
Yes, they were Stanley Cup contenders that year, and they choked in the Eastern Conference semifinals in a big way against their biggest rivals. They did not win a game in that series. That cost Andrew Burnett his job, or the opportunity to get that job. I guess he was the interim officially. So I don't know how much of the blame there is associated with Andrew Burnett. It sounds like, from what you're saying, they were very happy he did not get retained after that choke job in the Eastern Conference semifinals.
That's a literal quote. Thank God Andrew Burnett's not our coach anymore.
Because maybe they're seeing it play out similarly, right? The Preds got red hot in the regular season, and then here they are faltering in the postseason. I'm not willing to pin all of that on Andrew Burnett. There are some things, like the power play is supposed to improve dramatically under Burnett, and it did in the regular season. They had one of the best power plays in the NHL in the 2 months during that point streak, and it has been non-existent since the first power play of the series in which Ryan O'Reilly scored. And then we talked about it with Teresa. For their last 14, 15, that's a big problem. He obviously gets some of the blame for that, but so many defensive breakdowns. You see Saros being inconsistent throughout the series. Obviously, though, Florida attributed that Eastern Conference semifinal sweep largely to Andrew Burnett, it would seem.
615-737-1045 is the number. Do we feel like the Preds win tonight? Jackson, you first.
I'm going to go yes. I'm going to say the series comes back to Nashville.
Okay. Game 6, Friday.
I'm going to say no. I just don't know how you bounce back from that collapse.
Non-believer.
That just feels like something that'll...
A non-believer among us.
Generational hater, Lucas Panzica.
I don't know, man.
Noted detractor of the Nashville Predators, Lucas Panzica, down on the Preds in Vancouver, in a big spot. Life on the line?
I was there on Sunday, all right? Don't try to turn this on me. I was there on Sunday. I was wearing my Nashville Predators gold.
It's all your fault. What the hell?
Didn't know we had that in the bag.
Back in the cage.
The Panthers do that too, by the way.
Oh,
in their home arena.
So who was that for?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how you bounce back from that, man. It's that kind of collapse, and the way that everybody left that building stunned, players and fans. Rogers Arena is going to be rocking today. This series means so much for the Canucks. Maybe the Preds dig it out and force them to come back. Vancouver certainly doesn't want to come back to Nashville, but unfortunately, I think there are handshakes tonight.
Well, we will see what happens. It's another late puck drop, 9 p.m. puck drop here locally for those of you who've been watching. Have you watched much of the ESPN coverage? Because I've got cable, and it sounds like I'm the anomaly. Maybe not among the radio audience, but at least paying attention to people on social media, because apparently you can't get Bally Sports on like YouTube TV. Is that accurate?
Yeah, you can't get Bally on YouTube TV.
Okay.
You need the Bally Sports app, so you need, I guess, to pay for Bally Sports or have it through your TV provider.
So it's a whole thing, because I've been watching these games on Bally with our crew, with Mason, with Lindsay, with Hal, with Willie, the whole squad. And apparently the ESPN coverage, people have not been loving, like the studio show for the intermissions with Levy and PK Subban. I'm surprised by that. Is he good on TV? I haven't watched
I think
much of
PK's
him.
good. It's crazy how stretched thin these guys are. Like, Mike Monaco broadcasted I believe, game 1 of the Preds Canucks series. He was on a different NHL game the day after that, and then a different NHL game 2 days after that. And then the other day I saw him doing UFL football over the weekend on ESPN. So some of these announcers are stretched so thin, they're parachuting in and doing 4, 5, 6 games a week. So they don't have the devotion to your team that a Lindsay Rowley and Bally Sports crew will. So I could get some of those complaints to go from the Bally crew that watches nothing but Preds hockey game in and game out to an ESPN crew that's just parachuting in, that has games sandwiched in between where they're going all over the place.
I also think it's like it's not the ESPN that I haven't liked. It's when they're on like TBS. I think the ESPN crew's been decent. I think the TBS, because they go ESPN, I think Game 4 was on TBS.
Mm-hmm.
And that I was not a fan of the intermission period.
But wait, isn't it the TNT crew? Aren't they on TBS?
I was going to say, I love that crew.
Yeah, it's the TNT crew.
So you don't like Gretzky and them?
Gretzky, I like some of it. Some of them I didn't like.
Oh, I think they're great.
Take a strong position. Have a hot take.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
I think Paul Bissonnette is great, and Liam McHugh does a great job driving that ship, and Wayne Gretzky, and yeah, I think that crew is fantastic.
Well, we'll see if the Preds. So Lucas is out. Hater. Jackson is in.
Believer.
I think the Preds are going to do it tonight. I don't know why. I have no reason. I have no logic. I have no strategy. I don't know anything about hockey. I just want the Preds to win. I'd like to see them do it in Vancouver tonight. So we'll see what happens. 9 p.m. puck drop. That's the vibe. We've got Mike Felder of The Athletic, of Stadium, of Bleacher Report. He was breaking down the draft all weekend long. He's going to get into some of the prospects, some of his favorite draft classes coming up next. Welcome back here on 104.5 The Zone. Mike Felder of Bleacher Report will join us here in just a little bit. We're happy to have you. 615-737-1045 is the number. We have tickets to give away in the next segment, don't we?
Sure do.
Uh-oh.
What is this bumper? Like, is it buffering, or is that just how the beat goes?
No, it's set up like that. I think it works.
It is very jarring to me.
No,
He picked it.
I did. He. You know, you gotta have a little sense of what's going on. You gotta feel it out a little bit.
Speaking of jarring, I bet it'd be jarring to be strolling down Broadway and then just see a chair come crashing down in your vicinity. That guy is performing at Nissan Stadium this Thursday. So next, the best Oh No submission for what made you say Oh No in sports this week will get 2 tickets to Morgan Wallen at Nissan Stadium Thursday. Not now, but at 10:45.
Not yet. Just wait a second. Throwing the chair has only made him grow in power. I mean, I guess that's how it works for. Is he more a rock star than a country singer at this point, Morgan Wallen?
Pop star.
Pop star?
Yeah.
So maybe you don't mind the chair if it's got some tickets attached to it, and we will throw a chair with tickets at you here in just a little bit. Not yet.
Is this our version? Is this the 2024 version of like when rock stars would trash hotel rooms? Is this the Nashville country music version of what country is now?
I mean, he just kind of seems like a drunk bleep hole, but, I don't know what people thought of Johnny Cash when he's kicking out light bulbs and stuff like that.
Some of the greatest artists of past generations were drunk bleep holes.
That's what I'm saying. Johnny's all pilled up and whatnot. He's out there having a big time. I don't know what the discourse was. Was it the 50s, the 60s? I don't know.
Ozzy Osbourne snorted a line of ants.
What?
Legend has it.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Did you not watch the... of course you didn't. The Motley Crue movie on Netflix, the movie about Motley Crue.
No, I couldn't have told you that Ozzy Osbourne was in Motley Crue.
He wasn't in Motley Crue, but he was in the movie. Like, he partied.
Which one? Black Sabbath.
Mick, you'd be so disappointed.
Nailed it.
But there are countless stories about Ozzy Osbourne to that effect.
Okay. Well, we have Morgan Wallen tickets for you to win. Not yet. You have to do something. You have to tell us what in sports made you say, oh no, this week. And perhaps it's the Preds blowing a Game 4 lock that they should have had, a 3-1 lead very late in the third period. 615-737-1045, but not yet. All right. So we're going to take a look at the draft class. We're going to take a look at a couple of different draft class for the NFL. Coming out of this particular draft with Mike Felder, he was on Bleacher Report's exhaustive coverage. You were covering the draft in a different way than I was because you were doing the first 2 nights on A to Z, and then you had a soccer game on Saturday. So you probably got a better sense in real time of what teams were putting together than I did because, like, Titans make a pick, then they put the kid on a Zoom call with us, then we go and do a press conference. We miss, 10 to 15 picks throughout the course of that, and then you look up and all of a sudden the Falcons have drafted Michael Penix, and you say, what? And that happened an hour ago. Yeah, so it's a little bit different. But was there a draft in particular that you liked? Because I came away looking at the Miami Dolphins and saying that was a really good value. And, people have different ways of assigning value to drafts. Maybe Mike Felder has a different way of assigning value to drafts, given that he was on Bleacher Report all 3 days covering this thing top to bottom. He's here with us now on 104.5 The Zone. Hey, buddy.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm great because they figured out how to put you on our TV screen in here. So this is the first time that I'm seeing your setup. It's jarring. You can't see us, but it's great to see you.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we got a Nolan Ryan side baseball back here.
Excellent.
We got hats. We got football. We got all this.
Is that hot sauce?
Yes, that's hot sauce. That's Texas Pete. You can't beat it.
So you are a Houston Astros fan? Is that what I'm seeing back there? Are those the hats? You like cheating?
I love it. Listen, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
All right, so who cheated the draft in your exhaustive coverage? I know you know these players. I know you know the systems that they come out of, which is why your analysis is particularly good to have on the draft. Who got the best value out of this year?
I mean, I think there's a couple different things. There's 3 things when it comes to drafting. One is you draft to fill it, right? And I think that's what we saw with the Chiefs. We saw, I think, with the Bills. You draft guys that are going to fit even the Ravens. You draft to fit, to fill some holes. There's draft to create your own structure, which is what the Steelers are doing, which is why, to me, the AFC North?
Yeah.
That's what's most interesting to me is the AFC North is because they are trying to, everyone's going to be something. The Ravens, we know, they're going to run the football. You don't go out and get Derrick Henry and have Lamar Jackson and then also add in all these pieces without having an identity. So that's one, that's two. And then three is I don't know what I'm doing. And that's where the Falcons fit. They have no clue what they're doing.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know. I tried to make it make sense in my head. I shouldn't have, because I should just look at their draft and think, what are you? What are the Atlanta Falcons? I can't imagine what it is to be a tortured member of that fan base and year in, year out, think you're on the precipice of something just to have your organization trip and fall over themselves.
I mean, you spend $100 million on Kirk Cousins. And then you're like, let's get another guy. Another guy that's 24. So we have him. And then when the GM comes out and says, well, hopefully he can sit for 4 years, you're like, but if he sits for 4 years, the math ain't mathing, as the kids say, right? If he sits for 4 years, how can you even use the 5-year player option? What are we doing?
Yeah.
What's this?
It's one of those things, Felder, because, you talk to a lot of people at various levels of football. I try to at least educate myself as much as humanly possible about the way that these dudes think. And the justification that people were trying to make is, well, if you think you have a franchise quarterback, do you pass on him for Kirk Cousins? And when you put it in that context, I kind of get it, except Kirk Cousins has all the money. Atlanta may think it's just starting quarterback money as opposed to true blue face of the franchise quarterback money that some of these dudes are getting now. But even still, it is such a tough kind of mind bleep to wrap the logic around. I don't think I can do it.
Here's the thing. Kirk Cousins is going to get $100 million no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter what. You can cut him tomorrow. He's still going to get $100 million. So the math doesn't math because that money counts against you from a dead cap standpoint. And so what are we doing? In a vacuum, drafting Penix makes sense. A black quarterback to Atlanta, a lefty to Atlanta. People like that. They will like that. But after you already paid Kirk Cousins $100 million guaranteed, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm sorry, I look kind of sheepish. I just got back from a run.
You're just fine, buddy. It's good to have our good friend Mike Felder of Stadium of Bleacher Report here with us on 104.5 The Zone. We are reacting to the draft that just went down a couple of days ago. So Titans, tell me what you were able to discern about what it is that they put together, because it's very fundamental, very kind of meat and potatoes, because this roster is trash and they're trying to fix it as quickly and as efficiently as they can.
Yeah, I like their. Hang on, you tell me what you like, and then I'll react to that.
All right. I like that Bill Callahan likes the guy that they got to play left tackle. The best offensive line coach in the sport is telling me that's my guy. That smarter football people than I are telling me that dude is my favorite tackle prospect, a better tackle prospect than was Joe Alt, and they're both going to have to flip positions. I don't see the same kind of hand-wringing about Joe Alt playing right tackle as I do about J.C. Latham playing left tackle, and I understand that there's a higher degree of difficulty, or maybe just a higher degree of importance, because the blind side for most quarterbacks is the premium spot, but both tackles have to be athletic, and this dude, I don't think you can manufacture that level of nastiness and just brute strength, Mike, that he brings to the table. The AFC South is getting better and better, and they needed it. They needed it one way or the other. I'm tired of seeing quarterbacks getting smacked back here.
So here's what I'm going to say. Yes, great. J.C. Latham, awesome, fantastic. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to Ford, and not even all the way back to Ford. I'm going to say there's a combo here with Cedric Gray and Tavondre Sweat. Those guys, that's a tandem, right?
Yeah.
You get a linebacker that can move side to side, and he's a tackling machine. And so what do you do in front of that linebacker? Let's go get a big, huge guy. Sweat's going to be in front of him, so now he can run. It's like when John Beeson was with the Carolina Panthers, where John Beeson just ran all around because he had two guys in front of him that swallowed up everything. And I think that's what we're looking at with Sweat and Gray. The other one for me, Jaquan Johnson, love him. I think he's a guy that's going to be a problem. And you don't usually get that in round 6. But I do think he can be a problem, especially with the new kickoff rules. Have you guys talked about the new kickoff rules much?
We have, and we talked with him about it on Saturday when he got drafted, because teams have been kind of, trying to figure out if he's got dual return abilities within the new scope of the kickoff rules, not just as a punt returner.
What did he say?
He said, yeah, he feels completely comfortable. He feels like that's going to be something that he's going to be able to bring his skill set to. And, that was something that was echoed by Rand Carthon, the GM here.
There we go. So we're in business. So I love that. This was a weird safety draft. James Williams obviously gets picked out of Miami. I don't know. Do you think he's going to move to linebacker? I guess is the question.
It's already done. They're not even considering him at safety. He's going to be a linebacker. Yeah.
That's why. Listen, hey, that's why it's good to talk to people with boots on the ground. Because I wasn't sure. I thought it was a possibility, but I wasn't sure. And now you're telling me that it is what it is.
Yeah, apparently that was a part of their discussion there with him, that they just told him straight up, we see you at linebacker here. The degree of difficulty for safeties at the college level who are playing linebacker in the league, because we've already got one on the roster here in Tennessee, Mike, with Otis Reese, formerly of Ole Miss, and that's pretty common. They have to be able to move, certainly in space, with the way that offenses are spreading things out. How have you seen that process go? And is there something about the prospects, beyond just the athleticism, that tends to lend itself to making that transition?
Well, so I live in Charlotte, for full disclosure. Charlotte, Nashville, and Atlanta have this weird relationship. So I'm not even going to get into it.
No, I feel like we have to now. I feel like that now you've brought, you can't throw those undertones out there into the Nashville area and then walk away from it. What do you mean?
It feels like Atlanta is like the king.
Yes.
And then it's like the princes, it's like Nashville and Charlotte are like, no, we're better.
No,
like
wait.
Nashville.
This is Succession, is what you mean to say.
Yes.
And one's Kendall, and the other one's what's not Macaulay Culkin, the other Culkin.
You're asking the wrong guy, but
Kieran Culkin.
But I do think you need to throw Austin into this as well. The three princes.
Oh,
okay.
Austin's the eldest boy. Austin might be Connor. I don't know how this works.
Come on. We don't need Austin in here. We're just going to go two princes. Okay?
Get him out. All right. Those are the rules. So we'll figure out who wins at the end of the discussion. But anyway, continue about Charlotte.
No, we had Thomas Davis, and the Panthers have also had Shaq Thompson.
Right.
So it's the same thing, right? It's the safety that moves to linebacker, and it's a hard transition. And Thomas Davis did it a lot better than Shaq Thompson, if you ask me. So this is going to it's an interesting move, but there's a thing you have to have if you want to play that position. And I play safety. You have to want to be touched every play. And that's not a thing a lot of safeties like. And that's the part, when you guys go, ask them, do you want to get touched every play? Because that's the biggest difference between a safety and a linebacker is, do you want to get touched every day? It's not how strong you are. It's not how tough you are. It's not, do you want to hit someone? It's, do you want to get touched every single play? Linebackers get touched every single play. But if you play safety, you don't get touched every play. And you can find plays where you never get touched. And I think that's the biggest difference.
Well, and certainly that's a theme of their draft class, just downhill, physical, aggressive types of players.
Yeah.
And James Williams, the Miami safety, now linebacker, is certainly no exception. So I don't know how much you're watching North Carolina defense on a regular basis, because they've had some ups and downs. under Chizik, to put it lightly. With Cedric Gray, they need a linebacker here, a running mate for Kenneth Murray. I don't know how much you remember of him at Oklahoma. Yeah. He's not been the best former first rounder. He's now here on a bit of a prove-it deal after his rookie contract expired in Los Angeles. More a downhill kind of, if you can get him to think less and feel more, he'll excel, or at least that was what Brandon Staley seemed to find with him, and that's what they're hoping to accomplish here under Denard Wilson. Cedric Gray, can he run the defense as a rookie, as a 3-year starter in North Carolina?
Yeah, I think so. I think that here's the big thing, and obviously you mentioned Kenneth Murray. These are two linebackers. They don't like getting touched. They do not like for people to put their hands on them.
Yeah.
But that's the whole goal of Sweat, right? Drafting Sweat is the goal for him is to occupy 2, maybe even 3 guys. And then what do these guys do? They get to run around with nobody putting their hands on them. So you have Kenneth Murray, you throw in Cedric Gray, and you run. They can run. They'll make tackles. These guys aren't afraid of contact. That's what I hope folks understand this when they listen to this. I hope folks realize I'm not saying they're contact averse. What I'm saying is they don't like a guard or a tackle. Like a 325-pound man, I don't know if you've ever had this, but a 325 man getting on you is not fun.
No, I can't say in my life. Zach Martin sat on me one time in a semi-state championship game in high school, but that was about the extent of my experience.
So the goal is, I don't want to get touched. How do you not get touched? We bring in T'Vondre Sweat. Cool. We have Jeffrey Simmons. Awesome. So now I can run. These are runners. And it reminds me a little bit of like what? Alec Ogletree? Like they're runners. These are runners. They're not guys that are going to, like, they're not Patrick Willis or Luke Kuechly or whatever it is. Like they're not that. They don't want to run through something. They want to run to something. And I guess, oh, wow, I just came up with a really good thing. They don't want to run through something. They want to run to something. You can get the same results, but for them, they need these guys up front so that they can run to that at the line of scrimmage.
Obviously, you have a perspective on Gray, having played at North Carolina and being based out of there. What do you think? It doesn't sound like you'll be too surprised if he wears the green dot. That's the big question around here about Cedric Gray. But what do you think will be the toughest adjustment for him in the NFL as a rookie?
I mean, at some point, you're going to have to run through some people. And I guess that's the thing that we already talked about, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing that he does not necessarily seem to excel at, getting off those blocks and shutting the contact.
Yeah, and neither does Kenneth Murray, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like I don't know. Can you see me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so there's guys who stack and shed, right? So they get full extension and they shed, and then they move down to go make a tackle. And there's guys that glance. They glance.
Right.
They glance. And if you're a glancer, which is what Cedric Gray is, which is what Kenneth Murray is, if you glance and you move side to side very well, what you need to have is big boys in front of you. So I do think he gets the green dot. I do think he's someone that understands how to play defense, but I think that defense is going to play the way that he plays defense. And in respect to that, it's going to be a defense that moves side to side. Everyone, you guys know about kick the can?
Explain for the audience who might not.
Okay, so for kick the can, basically what it is I'm here until we get to the sideline.
Right.
So it's a run that comes down to the A hole, right? Comes to the A gap, excuse me. Comes to the A gap.
We both looked at each other, Felder.
I didn't mean it that way.
FCC safe, Mike.
You did it in an FCC safe way. It's brilliant. We're cooking, baby. It's all right.
You come down to the A gap, and somebody shows their face. So the running back goes to the B gap. Then the running back goes to the C gap. Then the running back pushes the D. And so as they push, everybody flows. They fast flow that way. And then next thing you know, the running back realizes the sideline's there. And then they have to make a decision. And that's how boom, boom, boom. That's how you kick the can down. That's a different thing from someone who, Tommy Eichenberger, right? Tommy Eichenberger, excuse me, from Ohio State, who's like, I'm going to make this tackle right here in the A gap, not the A hole, the A gap. Okay.
All I got out of this segment was it all flows from the a-hole. Is that what? That's basically what our visit with Mike Felder of Bleacher Report and Stadium. You can get his excellent analysis there, as well as his regular appearances once the football season starts on this radio show. It just makes me so happy because this is the first time that I've gotten to watch you work through that in real time. It was excellent. Well done by you, Felder.
And next time we're going to have to get your B-hole, C-hole, D-hole analysis too.
Get out of here, Mike.
You guys have a good one. I truly was just trying to
No, you did great. You did great.
We learned so much.
You're going to be a meme after this interview ends. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fun. That's fun for me.
At In the Bleachers is where you can tag him. That a-hole, Mike Felder, with us on 104.5 The Zone. Excellent looking with the balloons. All right, coming up next, we got Morgan Wallen tickets to give away. I'm Buck Rising.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I can't believe I said that. I truly can't believe I said that. Thank you guys so much. Oh.
QC Kinetics is here to help you if you're dealing with that nagging joint pain. They are the best in the business. Regenerative medicine is what they offer. They want to get you help with a needle instead of a knife because you know how awful the surgical procedures can be if you've been through something like this before. QC Kinetics is here to help you, and they will put you in position to succeed because it's the best time of year to be out and to be active, whether you're jogging, checking out some waterfalls here in Middle Tennessee. A lot of you like to hike. I see it on social media all the time. If you're going to the beach, you don't want to be bogged down by that joint pain. The future of medicine is here with QC Kinetics. So call them now for a free consultation. Revolutionary treatments for joint pain are available to you at 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024. All right. I got Morgan Wallen tickets to give away, but only if you tell me what in sports made you say, oh, no. 615-737-1045 is the number if you want to jump in. We'll get to ours here in just a second. We're going to have to move quickly here because, we got a little distracted with Felder. Squirrel. Are we ready? Are we ready to rock?
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. No. For the opportunity to win Morgan Wallen tickets. Lucas, what night of Morgan Wallen are they winning tickets to? Because famously, he has shows Thursday, Friday, and I believe Saturday at Nissan this weekend.
This is for this Thursday at Nissan Stadium. The best submission gets 2 tickets to see Morgan Wallen. No word yet on if any chairs will be thrown from the stage.
All right, so hang on to your hats. Maybe wear a hard hat at the stadium because
safety first.
There could be things flying. Maybe it has to be a clear hard hat. I don't know if that works the same way as the purse situation or not. But the thing that made me say, oh no, in sports this week. Have you been watching much of the NBA basketball at this point?
Watched some of the Lakers game last night.
So the Lakers are very much on the precipice of having their season. LeBron is talking about being more focused on family than basketball at this point. There's some messaging around it. It was very abrupt fade down. Poor Jackson. I'm sitting here peppering him about the music. He's fielding 17,000 phone calls because people want Morgan Wallen tickets. So anyway, I've been watching a lot of the basketball, and I was watching the New Orleans Pelicans, their latest loss the other night in their first round series. Did you see Charles Barkley's analysis of where they're going to send the Pelicans after their season is over?
Galveston, Texas.
Okay, let's hear from Charles Barkley on the NBA, at the Inside the NBA desk, giving his analysis of the Pelicans.
Disappointed in New Orleans. Where they going, Chuck? Galveston. That dirty ass water. We're not even gonna send them to Cancun. We're gonna send them to Galveston where that dirty ass water be washed up on the shore. You people think they're in the beach. Y'all located. We y'all gonna send y'all to Cancun. Y'all drive y'all quit. Drive your ass down to Galveston. Come on, man.
So they're not taking a little.
Come on, they didn't even try, man. No, we're not getting them no plane ticket to the beach. We send their ass to Galveston, Texas, right where that dirty water washed up on the beach. They can't even get in the water. Come on, man.
Oklahoma City, 185 in Game 3.
It's like me saying that if the Titan season ended, they don't get to go to Mexico. They get to go to Mobile, Alabama. Like, get out of here.
Galveston, Texas, taking a shot. Shaq was losing his mind on the desk.
That's
like,
incredible.
Shaq was beside himself.
Doubled over.
Oh,
he
that
knew
was so
exactly
funny.
where Chuck was going to go with it. It's just a perfect setup. What in sports made you say, oh, no?
Atlanta Falcons general manager Terry Fontenot. Not to pile on here, but this is a quote from Fontenot. The question from Falcons media on Saturday. So day 3 of the draft was about not drafting a cornerback, a need, a lot of defensive needs for the Atlanta Falcons. Fontenot's answer was, quote, we would have liked to add to that position, but you don't want to force a reach or do something you shouldn't. That is what made me say, oh no, in sports this week. You just take a deep breath and you say, okay, Falcons fans across the country, I feel for you. That your general manager is doing a disservice to your team's ability to win right now and then dropping quotes like that after taking a quarterback number 8 when it was quite literally at the very bottom on your list of needs in this draft.
That's a big oh no.
Don't want to reach. Never want to reach on someone as he takes Michael Penix number 8 overall because he threw it well in the wind. Did you see that? They loved the way the ball cut through the wind, forgetting that they play in stadiums and in a dome in Atlanta.
Oh, no. Jackson, do you have one quickly?
I do. This one comes from the mayor of Los Angeles. Last night, Lakers defeated by the Nuggets in Game 5. Last-second shot from Jamal Murray. And the mayor tweets out, tough season, but at least we won the in-season tournament.
Oh.
Proud of our team at Lakers. This tweet has been deleted, but the internet lives forever. Why? Nobody gives a solitary damn about the in-season tournament. No one cares. No one. Why? Why include that when you just got waxed in the first round by the Denver Nuggets, the same team that put you out of the playoffs last year?
Noted Lakers fan, Jackson Williams.
You are a Lakers fan, aren't you?
I'm a LeBron guy.
They're so boring now with LeBron. It's the same thing year in and year out. Like he's going to scrounge. I mean, I know he won a bubble championship with the Lakers or whatever, but like I don't know.
The bubble championship was real. Can't tell me otherwise. Do not call it a Mickey Mouse ring.
All right, have people called it a Mickey Mouse ring?
That's where the phrase Mickey Mouse ring comes from.
Because it was in Orlando?
Yes, it's a Mickey Mouse win.
I love it. All right, what in sports made you say, oh no, for the opportunity to win 2 Morgan Wallen tickets to the concert coming up on Thursday? We'll get into your phone calls coming up next.
It is 11 o'clock. Good morning. I'm Lucas Panzica from the 104.5 The Zone studios. With the NFL draft in the rear view, UDFAs are finding landing spots across the NFL. The Titans have reportedly signed multiple players, a couple from Tennessee, running back Jabari Small and cornerback Gabe Judy Lawley, also a former Vanderbilt Commodore. Titans also reportedly signing Washington running back Dylan Johnson and Texas Tech guard Cole Spencer. In NFL news, the Kansas City Chiefs gave tight end Travis Kelce a new 2-year contract worth over $34 million, over $17 million in guaranteed money for this season. Also, the Jacksonville Jaguars have released wide receiver Zay Jones. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
I got Morgan Wallen tickets to give away. All you got to do is tell me what in sports made you say, oh no, in this segment. 615-737-1045 is the number if you want to jump in. We gave you ours. Your opportunity to give us yours will be in just a moment. We got a lot of people that want to participate. A lot of good oh no stuff out there with all the playoffs, all the miscues, all the first round early exits. Philadelphia fans just in absolute hell. Is any fan base having more fun in postseason play than the New York Knicks? I don't think so. It looks like so much fun to be a Knicks fan for the first time ever because they have been so miserable. And I would argue that that's the most important team in New York City. The Knicks at this point, you could say the Yankees. I know the Yankees have the rings, but it's been a long time, and people just seem generally over everything that's happened to the Yankees. It's been a long time since they've won a World Series and put together a team that lived up to expectation. I feel like the Knicks is what really gets New York going, the Mecca, all the excitement. Bleep Joel Embiid, they're taking over Philadelphia. It's crazy. Did you see that the other day?
I did not, but they get the chance to wrap up the series tonight, right?
They do indeed, and we will not talk a ton of playoff basketball today, but the Preds are in Game 5 tonight in Vancouver. We'll swing back around to that here in just a little bit. Let's get to your phone calls. What in sports made you say, oh, no, this week? Let's start with Robert in Nashville.
Hey, Buck, I'm there?
You are.
All right, so mine is the Atlanta Falcons putting out a graphic with Michael Penix Jr., but they didn't spell correct, and at the bottom it spells out Penis.
No, it doesn't.
No,
That's
it doesn't.
not real.
That can't
Yeah,
be real.
not real.
It can't be real.
I will,
DM it
Who do I
to
need to
me
DM?
right now on Twitter or on Instagram. DM it to me somewhere. I got to see this with my own eyes.
There's no way.
No, they did not put out a jersey Photoshop with the word penis on it. No, they didn't.
There's no way.
I can't send it to you, Buck. Can I send it to Lucas?
Why can't you send it to me?
I
What's
just sent
wrong?
it on the show chat.
I don't
I
know.
found it.
My DMs are my DMs blocked? You can't get in my DMs?
I guess not.
No, I need to rectify that. I thought my DMs were open. Anyway, all right, send it
It
to
says I got
Lucas.
to be verified.
We'll confirm. I'm not verified. You shouldn't have to be. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Thank you for the call, Robert.
Jackson sent in, it's a screenshot from the Falcons' Instagram page, but I don't know. This could be doctored. I have no idea.
See, this
I
is
can't
the
trust
problem.
anything.
This is the problem, because that immediately wins. If the Falcons bleeped up that kind of way after already bleeping up the pick,
Yeah,
like,
that would win.
that's a runaway winner. This is the problem with AI. This is the worst version of AI that we'll ever have. It's only going to get smarter. It's only going to get easier to fool us.
The X and the S are unfortunately close to one another on the keyboard. I'm sure that has driven Michael Penix crazy his entire life.
That's true. All right, let's go with Jackson in Nashville. By the way, we'll put you back on hold after you give us your submission so that Jackson can tell you if you won the tickets or not. Jackson in Nashville is next.
Hey, what's up, guys? I have to go with the Kansas City Chiefs sending Jamal Charles up there to read one of the harder names in the draft, knowing his previous history with having learning disabilities.
It's so bad.
That was rough.
I mean,
That was hard to watch.
That's the purpose of this segment is to be funny. that did not. I'm not gonna lie. It did make me laugh a little bit because it was just one of the harder names to pronounce, and they put him in a really bad spot. You got to know. You got to know who you're taking. You got to know who's up there reading. I mean, I know the draft card gets delivered. The people in the Falcons, or rather the Chiefs war room, are probably not thinking about Jamal Charles announcing the pick. It does a disservice to the kid, but it also does a terrible disservice to Jamal Charles. I
don't know, how do you avoid it? Like, Jamal Charles is going to announce the pick. That is decided long before the pick gets made. So I don't know what you do. Like, what do you tell? Oh, Jamal. Oh, sorry, but we don't think you can. Like, no,
you don't stop him.
No, he has to read it. Like, it's a nice thing. A former player, Warren Moon, announced the 38th pick for the Titans.
You don't think that you're saving him? So, because the internet is very unkind. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not about you may offend him and his pride a little bit, but
that's
also,
a worse look. It's like because people know Jamal. Like, we knew Warren Moon the day before was going to announce the Titans' second round pick, and then suddenly he's not because the name is hard. Like, that to me is a worse look.
I don't think so. Like, it's not a hard name. It's one of the hardest names, and you know that he already struggles a little bit in that department. And if you're going to put him in that position, it may be a bit of a kindness to not have him ridiculed on the internet for the end of time. Now, fortunately for Jamal Charles, we all have short attention spans, and somebody will very soon embarrass themselves on the internet next that will distract us from Jamal Charles. But
very unfortunate situation.
It was a tough one. Jason is in Hendersonville next.
Hey, good morning, guys. Biggest oh no moment. East Tennessee resident himself, Mr. Morgan Wallen. The retirement of the GOAT this week that no one's talking about. High school All-American, two-time NCAA champion, multiple WNBA titles, defensive player of the year, probably the best female basketball player in my lifetime, the retirement of Candace Parker.
Yeah, just so you're sad to see her go from the women's game. That's your submission?
That's right. Oh no.
Yeah.
I mean, we losing Candace Parker. The only, I guess, about this is she's a great analyst. We'll get to see more of her on TV.
She is great on TV.
Yeah.
Thank you for the call, Jason. We appreciate it.
Yeah, legend.
We should pay proper tribute to the legend that is Candace Parker. Do you like that studio show as well? Beyond just what she's accomplished throughout the course of her, not just collegiate, but obviously the very, very accomplished professional career.
She's great. She's great on the NBA stuff. She's great on the March Madness coverage. Like, she's able to establish a chemistry seemingly with whoever she's on the desk with, and the analysis is fantastic. Yeah, big Candace Parker fan, obviously.
Apparently, so say that on air.
The misspelling of Michael Penix was created by Barstool.
Okay, that makes sense.
I'm not going to say what they spelled.
That makes sense.
It's anatomically correct.
Yeah, but I feel like it could be. I'm not trying to become a meme. This is week 2, boys. I'm not trying
Jackson.
to
become a meme. Felder was just describing flowing from the a-hole in front of a live streamed audience. What,
exactly.
Are you scared?
Exactly. One meme per show. That's the rule.
Coward. Coward. Mark is in Cookeville.
Yes, sir. I think it's got to be the Preds' failure to finish.
Yeah, it's tough.
And even up the season and the series. I think that was a tragedy, and I think it made us about 5 consecutive losses at home in a row in the playoffs dating back to last year. When it's this time of season, you got to be a finisher.
It's the truth. I mean, the way the Preds lost. All right, so what on the board? Because my gut feeling is Mark's oh no is the greatest of the oh no's.
It is.
Right? Like, you drop your head into your hands when the Preds, not when they give up the 3-2 goal, but when that one slips in with point, it said on TV, Teresa said that the timestamp was 8 seconds left. On TV, it said 6.2
yeah,
or
it was
something.
about 6.
like that to send it into overtime, and then immediately you think, oh my God, well, the energy in the building is gone immediately, and they're going to lose this in overtime because you've seen this horror story before. What on the board that was nominated as a greater oh no than what the Preds did? Because Mark in Cookeville might have it.
Yeah, no, one was a fake post by Barstool, a doctored post about Michael Penix. The other, what was Candace Parker retiring. That sucks to see Candace Parker go, but I, for one, am happy to see more Candace Parker on television after her retirement, if that is going to be the case. It's Mark. Mark in Cookeville has to win.
Okay,
nothing is worse than blowing a 3-1 lead with 2.5 minutes left in the third, and then folding a minute into overtime. It's not even like the overtime period was competitive.
And they've done that before. They've done that several times this season, and that's the kind of stuff you were hoping that they shook off. So, it should be a celebration that Mark is winning Morgan Wallen tickets to go to Thursday night, because I know it's a very popular concert. It's going to be a great atmosphere, sounds like. Just make sure you keep your head on a swivel for any flying furniture. But you just wish it was for something that didn't just kill us locally, just take a knife and stick it in us.
Yeah, the empty netter, too, the miss from Sissons hitting the post, everything about it.
They kept showing that replay on SportsCenter. For some reason, it's not just the goal to tie it. It's the miss by Sissons, or it's not even, it is a miss because it goes off the post and it's just a centimeter off. There was a body in front of him. I don't want to say that he had like a layup with the empty netter, but it really missed opportunity after missed opportunity. And that's all that you kept seeing shown on the highlight shows, because people had money on the Preds. People were betting the Preds. They were betting Forsberg. They were betting Yossi.
The crowd was
brutal.
good, too. The crowd caught a lot of flack on Friday, by the way. Did you see this? A lot of criticism.
So I saw it on, you and I talked about this. I saw it on Twitter, and I told you earlier, maybe last week, that I'm going to stop doing so much of the show stuff based on what I see off Twitter. Because I just don't know what's a fair reaction. Social media is just an inherently miserable place. So I don't know how much of that is fair. Was it a bad crowd? You weren't there on Friday.
I wasn't there on Friday, but I know several people that were. And what I heard was pregame, great environment. Like the first couple of minutes when the puck is dropping and it's getting started, awesome. And then it was dead, basically, until Luke Evangelista scored to make it 2-1 late in the third. Preds end up losing 2-1. But I heard it was very disappointing. And a lot of it had to do with like the in-arena stuff. Like people are pissed that they're not playing Run This Town in pregame anymore. They're playing it before the third period, but when everybody's in the concourse during intermission. So it's kind of a blend of the crowd, of the in-arena entertainment stuff, but a lot of criticism on Friday. Alex Doherty talked about it. He said it's warranted. He said Rogers Arena for games 1 and 2 in Vancouver was one of the craziest environments Alex has ever seen ever. Like you could feel the importance of those games with the Canucks crowd, and then huge drop-off in Game 3. But I was there on Sunday, and I will say the crowd was good. It was really good. Yeah. You had Levis and Cushenberry. He's snapping the catfish to Levis.
They probably got some heat about how the environment was and different things that they might have done to contribute to the environment, and said, all right, Titans aren't doing anything this week. Let's get the quarterback in here who's going to kiss the catfish.
Yeah, Lawan chugging the beer, and then his daughter chugging the water.
They
amazing.
pulled out all the stops.
Absolutely amazing. Colby Calais was catching strays from Friday with her anthem. It was a beautiful anthem, right? But it didn't. People were talking. That didn't get me fired up at all. So I felt bad for Colby Calais for crushing the anthem, but people didn't think it was fiery enough. Little Big Town was awesome, though. They were awesome on Sunday.
Well,
the crowd went
nuts.
nuts.
It wasn't enough because they went out and got the big guns. They said, Little Big Town, get in here. Let's blow this thing up.
Oh, man.
And then, the Preds got blowed up. That's not what you want. Anyway, coming up next, we will talk about where the Vols in the draft landed, whose fits we like the best, a couple of them here as UDFAs in Tennessee. We'll also get into Cedric Gray, the North Carolina linebacker, who it sounds like is going to get the opportunity as a rookie to try and run this defense. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. Welcome back to the show. We are fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Lunch right around the corner. Consider any one of their great Middle Tennessee locations. What's the latest thing that you've had at Hattie B's, Lucas? What's the last meal that you had at Hattie B's?
The Dirty Bird fries.
The Dirty Bird fries. So what are on the Dirty Bird fries for people who are unfamiliar with the concept?
Everything. Hot chicken, cheese, green onions. I mean, you can dress it up however you want on a big pile of Hattie B's French fries. But my favorite thing, really, my favorite thing about Hattie B's are the sides. The sides mean so much to me. And places that don't skimp on them and take them seriously will win me over. Like, we already know the chicken is amazing, whether it's hot or not. Even if you just want plain fried chicken, Hattie B's is your spot. But like the pimento mac, the collard greens, that's what gets me about Hattie B's.
Lunch right around the corner. Think about Hattie B's. Download the app today, and you can mobile order if you want to. Okay, so let's get to know Cedric Gray. So the Titans draft the off-ball linebacker out of North Carolina with the 106th pick. They wait from 38 to 106 without making a choice because they don't trade out of 38. They take Tavondre Sweat. So it's a long, long wait before you get to Cedric Gray. You have a handful of linebackers that come off the board in the meantime. For example, Junior Colson, who went to the Michigan Chargers, the Los Angeles Wolverines. That continues to be a theme. 2 players out of this draft go join their former college head coach, Jim Harbaugh, in Los Angeles. Then you have Peyton Wilson, who has the slide, and you think, okay, maybe the Titans might get into the range for Peyton Wilson. He's dealing with a variety of different injuries. Everybody that I talk to about it say that the red flags are real and genuine and not like
Injury-wise.
Like, yes. Like, this is something that is, you're looking at him as a one-contract player at best, and even that's a bit of a risky proposition, which is how, I don't think a lot of people, you think a lot of fans think that way, that teams are evaluating players off, this is a one-contract guy, this is a two-contract guy, this is a potential solution for 10 years, because it's really, I don't even think teams look at quarterbacks that way anymore. I think they look at quarterback as a 5 to 6 year proposition.
Yeah, I think you just want somebody that can help you right now. You can't get caught up thinking about 5 years from now.
But I think fans do, don't you think? With draft picks anyway, with guys coming in, you want to see guys make it to their second contract if they're good enough to. And teams don't always think about that way. So anyway, Peyton Wilson goes. Should have been a first-round pick, probably the best linebacker overall if he's not dealing with all those injuries, and he falls to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then in the 4th round, 106, they take Cedric Gray. Now, he plays in a defense that's had its roller coaster ride over the course of his tenure there. He's a 3-year starter. He's got good length. He's got good size, though he could stand to bulk up a little bit at 6'2", about 234. And when we talked to him, Cedric Gray, on Zoom, we asked specifically about his skill set because he was a very, very productive player during his time at North Carolina. This was Cedric Gray on Saturday.
Yeah, I think my talent fits perfectly. I think I'm a sideline to sideline backer, a guy who gets to the ball a lot. Like you said, got to cover a lot as linebackers today in the NFL. I think I have an athletic ability, unique athleticism that I'll be able to match up with tight ends, running backs. I'm a receiver and be able to make plays.
So that's Cedric Gray speaking to us via Zoom about 20 minutes after he got drafted with the 106th pick by the Titans. So he's an off-ball linebacker, and you read through the analysis, and Mike Felder, who was on with us earlier, gave us excellent analysis about him because having played at North Carolina himself, Mike, and having been a defensive player, very familiar with the scheme and the prospect and how he'll translate at the next level. I thought that analysis was really, really good until we got distracted. But then Cedric Tillman, I'm all over the place. I said Cedric Wilson. I said Cedric Wilson. I said Cedric Tillman. His name is Cedric Gray. This is going to be a terrible thing that happened to me as I age. And you tried to correct me and your microphone was off.
I was just talking to myself.
I think that's great for radio. So, Cedric Gray not talking to himself, talking to us about the proposition of wearing the green dot and potentially running this defense as a rookie.
Yes, I believe I will be able to do that. That's something that I pride myself on having a great football mind and understanding the game, understanding the defense, understanding where everybody's supposed to be, but also understanding how the offense is trying to attack us. and be able to communicate and get everybody lined up. I see myself as a leader. I feel like I can lead a group of men. So I think that will fit perfectly in being a green dot guy.
And he's got the requisite skill set as a college player, as a college leader, as a 3-year starter on that defense to be able to manage this. Now, obviously, you're coming into a situation in the NFL where you're in your early 20s and now you're dealing with grown men who have families and don't want to hang out and play Madden with you or whatever the case may be. So it's a different kind of leadership role that you'll have to take on, but there are certain rookies who have that. A.J. Brown had that kind of command as a rookie. Jeff had that kind of command as a rookie. There are dudes who are able to establish themselves among their peers. Levis last year. There's plenty of stuff that he doesn't know about the league or that he'll learn or whatever, but immediately established himself within that role as a leader. So will Cedric Gray be one of these players out of a 7-man draft class that immediately contributes right away? Because the problem is what's behind him. But we'll focus on Cedric Gray for right now. And the general manager that drafted him, Ran Carthon, visited with Ramon, Kayla, and Will yesterday. You can check out that full interview via the podcast, and was asked specifically about the green dot.
I think I've said it a couple times, and used Fred as my example. You know, that it's all on the player. It's all on the player and the person. People forget Fred Warner didn't even really play in the box as a linebacker. He was more of like a big nickel and played detached over the slot a lot in college and had never played Mike backer. And then next thing you know, this guy's drafted in the 3rd round. He's a starting Mike, and he's communicating and making a call. So it really depends on the person. But Cedric definitely, fits that, 3-year starter, 2-year captain. So he has those leadership traits. He has that ability to do it. And it's just a matter of how he comes in, how he connects with the defense. And, it's up to him. I believe Jack Gibbons can do it as well. And I think we can also be creative. I will tell you, it's going to be a hard time, convincing Amani Hooker that he can't do it.
Yep.
I think after one of the pressers I mentioned, Eric Weddle, as a safety, had been the green dot communicator in Baltimore and at his time at the Rams. And as soon as I got back to my desk, I had a text from Armani saying he wanted it. And, how can he go about getting it? So it's a bunch of different ways to get there. It doesn't necessarily have to be a linebacker.
Okay. That's a nugget.
With Gray, does it boil down to, do you have an issue with a rookie wearing the green dot?
No.
Because if he ends up being the one that calls out the defense and does it well, then there's not a better value meets need pick out of this class for the Titans, right? Because you could have taken, if they had taken Junior Colson,
value meets need is the better way to put it, because the immediate place that my mind went is Jaquan Jackson, and Felder made it sound like Jaquan Jackson is going to play almost right out the gate, because I'm thinking value is a 6th-round receiver, but value meets need. Off-ball linebacker, glaring need. They're having to patchwork this thing together, and if they do it successfully or, competently, he doesn't have to be the best off-ball linebacker in the sport next year. He just has to manage the situation, and he has to benefit from the thing that they have this hinged on, or part of the thing that they have this hinged on, which is that Tavondre Sweat has to be out there to keep him clean. Jeff Simmons has to be out there to keep him clean. That's the thing that he also talked about with us in his Zoom call after he was drafted, was he knows who Tavondre Sweat is, but also that bulk is going to help him play freely, because as Felder articulated, he is not somebody who likes to get covered up by these 330-pounders the way that a lot of these linebackers will if you let them get to the 2nd level.
Do you think we would have batted an eye if the Titans had taken Junior Colson at 38?
Sure, it's the same concern. Well, not the same concern. It's not the same concern. But the premise is the same. It's a young, inexperienced player at the NFL level. They're not inexperienced, but they're inexperienced with the degree of difficulty that is about to be posed to them when you line up against, because I believe the Dolphins are on the Titans schedule this year on the road. Mike McDaniel is going to hunt you out as a rookie off-ball linebacker wearing the communicator and say, all right, we're going to put that guy in a tailspin.
No, I'm not talking about just the concept of a rookie green dot. I'm talking about would we have been surprised if the Titans filled that need at 38? If it had been Junior Colson.
Oh, no.
Right? We wouldn't have been surprised. So if the Titans are able to fill that need, but do it with a 4th-round pick, then this will be the best value meets need pick of this draft class if Cedric Gray comes in and does it well. And all his stuff, he talked to y'all a lot about, the idea of leaving North Carolina for NIL money, right? The idea of transferring from his high school to go to a more prestigious school where he would get better looks. I wonder how much that played into his favor throughout the pre-draft process. I wonder how much teams really do value that stuff of like, well, why would I leave North Carolina? This was the place that offered me, that invested in me, that believed in me, the family stuff. Like, I never even considered leaving for what? For more NIL money? Like, no, I never even considered that. That was a big part of his presser with you guys. I wonder how much teams appreciate that type of stuff.
For day 3 picks, for sure.
Yeah.
Because the top flight guys, like the guys that are going to make the difference making money, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what Cedric Gray's NIL opportunities would have been.
He was a first-team All-ACC. He did 145 tackles his junior year. I bet he had opportunities.
How often, though? I mean, it's pretty rare, though, Lucas, that the inside linebacker is the face of the team, right? The cash is going to go to the quarterbacks, to the wide receivers, to the skill players, first and foremost, maybe to a defensive end, unless they're really, really top flight type of players. And it's not to say that he didn't have financial opportunities. I'm just saying, like, difference-making money. You know what I mean? I'm sure teams do. I don't know if this team specifically does. He was asked a lot of questions about it, but it sounded like that was more, at least being in the room with us. And did you watch it on YouTube or something? Mm-hmm. So you heard that he was being asked a specific line of questioning, and that line of questioning was also asked to several other players about the state of the transfer portal and its impact on the draft. I think that was more about what a particular reporter was writing, as opposed to taking that angle and trying to find out more about Cedric Gray. But the principle does matter to teams. I'm certain in certain situations. So, can he do it? Is he capable of running this defense out the gate? Certainly his belief of self is not in question here. Rand Carthon is giving plenty of examples of why they think he's capable to at least come in and compete, and did say that on Saturday when we spoke to him about the idea of finding multiple guys that can either start or compete for starting jobs on day one, and they need that to be the case. So Mike Felder was on with us in the first hour and broke it down as well as anybody I've heard on Cedric Gray running the Titans defense and wearing the green dot.
I mean, at some point you're going to have to run through some people. And I guess that's the thing that we already talked about, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing that he does not necessarily seem to excel at, getting off those blocks and shutting the contact.
Yeah, and neither does Kenneth Murray, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like I don't know. Can you see me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So there's guys who stack and shed, right? So they get full extension and they shed, and then they move down to go make a tackle. And there's guys that glance. They glance.
Right.
They glance. And if you're a glancer, which is what Cedric Gray is, which is what Kenneth Murray is, if you glance and you move side to side very well, what you need to have is big boys in front of you. So I do think he gets the green dot. I do think he's someone that understands how to play defense, but I think that defense is going to play the way that he plays defense. And in respect to that, it's going to be a defense that moves side to side. Everyone, you guys know about kick the can?
Explain for the audience who might not.
Okay, so for kick the can, basically what it is I'm here until we get to the sideline.
Right.
So it's a run that comes down to the A hole, right? Comes to the A gap, excuse me. Comes to the A gap.
Oh, no.
We got it is too bad because the analysis was
analysis. It was great analysis. He was vibing. He was flowing. And then he said a-hole.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one. So, consensus seems to be he's capable. Now he has to go out and win the job. So that's Cedric Gray, the 4th-round linebacker out of North Carolina, a part of the Titans 2024 rookie class. We're going to work our way through these guys the rest of the week. We've talked a lot about Sweat. Obviously, we spent all day on Friday honed in on J.C. Latham. So tomorrow, Jaquan Jackson, the wide receiver out of Tulane, will be the discussion point. 615-737-1045 is the number if you want to jump in. We'll get to more of your phone calls here in just a second. A quick reminder, if you are coming to the live show on Friday, 3HL is having a pre-party at World of Beer, so you can hang out with them from 3 to 6. Slay's introducing us. So Slay's going to be at a brewery for 3 hours before he comes to the Install Live show. Do they serve vodka? Is it room temperature? Because then I'm concerned about the introductions. You'll have to come on Friday and find out. Anyway, World of Beer, 3 to 6 with 3HL. You can get ready for the Install Live show with me, with Greg Cosell, with Titans GM Rand Carthon. Will be a great time. World of Beer is where you go, 1045 The Zone, for 1045thezone.com for more information. Jason in Murfreesboro is up next. Hey, Jason.
Hey, guys. How y'all doing?
Good.
Can you hear me?
No.
Wait, hold on.
Your phone line is hideous.
We can't do it. Sorry, Jason. Sorry, dude.
What?
Sounds like you're next to an airplane engine.
He might be.
What? Because he's going to call back. Okay, Jason in the borough calls us on a regular basis, and we appreciate that. When he calls back, Jackson, tell him we're not going to put him through, but find out what he does for a living because I'm curious. Because it always sounds like he is getting ready for takeoff. Every day when he calls us, he is getting ready for takeoff. When I try to pot him up, his phone line is never good. And we take the call because Jason's always good to call us.
I appreciate that he asks if we can hear him.
Because he probably knows. We have no idea what... I feel like I know you guys so well, and I don't know you at all. What do you all do for livings? for your employment? What is it that you say that you do here? I'm genuinely curious to know. Jackson, I'm going to have people start calling in, giving you their name and what it is that their occupation is. We're going to get to know the callers.
How about instead of where you're from, your occupation?
I would like your occupation more. In fact, I would like you to put, instead of you putting the location under their names, when they call in, I want their occupations.
I'm down.
Okay. 615-737-1045 is the number. Coming up next, where the Vols went in the NFL draft. Whose fits do we like the best? The landing spots that make the most sense, and a couple of them that ended up as UDFAs here in Tennessee. I'm Buck Rising. It's 1045 The Zone. Welcome back to the show. We are fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. I don't know what the Tennessee Vols are fueled by that win the NFL draft, but 3 of them went on Saturday in day 3. I was talking to a couple of people in the Titans media draft room. A lot of them had bets on which round Joe Milton, like how far Milton might actually fall. And I don't think anybody expected the kind of quarterback drought that we had between Bo Nix and Spencer Rattler.
Took forever to get to Spencer Rattler.
From 12 to 150 in terms of the selection process and, the stupidity around Rattler. It's going to make an appearance tomorrow in the evaluation process, or at least some of it that caused a potential slide. But Joe Milton goes 193rd to the New England Patriots in the 6th round. Jalen Wright is the first Vol off the board. The all-SEC running back goes to the Dolphins, which I really liked, that particular pick. 120th in the 4th round, then Milton. Then Kamal Hadden gets drafted in the 6th round to the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. So a good landing spot for him. Vols had the highest drafted lineman, having the SEC's highest drafted lineman last year in Darnell Wright. Wasn't really sure how teams were going to view Milton, and that being the biggest point of discussion. Now, obviously, I would contend that the quarterback drought should not have been as long as it was, because I think that Bo Nix got overdrafted. I think a lot of Broncos fans are not having an easy time with the 12th overall pick being spent on Bo Nix, but that's neither here nor there. There was a drop-off, though, in terms of what you knew about what you could get out of the players at the quarterback position, and Joe Milton is as big a wild card as any.
Interesting situation. Obviously, he's drafted to the place where Drake May was taken 3rd. Bailey Zappi is still in New England, right? And so is Jacoby Brissett. So it's a crowded quarterback room in New England. And Joe's having to field questions about, did the Patriots ask you if you could play another position? He said, no, he's here to play quarterback. So that will be very interesting what happens with Joe at the next level. Best fit is Jalen Wright, right?
In Miami, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That just works. His speed into that room where Raheem Mostert is 32 and
still producing.
Yeah, absolutely. I just had a career year, a franchise record-setting year in terms of touchdowns, but his deal is up at the end of next season, not this coming season, but the following. Devin Achane has battled injury issues, so Jalen Wright has the quickest path to the field, but I do kind of like the landing spot for Kamal Hadden. I don't hate that in Kansas City.
So they're trying to bring depth in, obviously, because they lose L'Jarius Sneed. They still have McDuffie, who's one of the better corners in football as well. And is there a particular reason that you like Kamal Hadden within the Steve Spagnuolo defense? Is there what about his skill set do you think lends itself, or are you just saying that he's not going to have to play right away? He's going to cut his teeth on teams. They tend to find these players later in, it's not like Nick Bolton was like a day 3 draft pick or anything like that, but they find toolsy type of
Trey
players.
Smith was.
Trey Smith was different.
It was different.
Blood clots are scary.
Trey Smith
if you have it locked up on the medicals, then there shouldn't be an issue at all.
He was a 226 pick. Kamal was 211 in the 6th round.
Yeah. What was Brady Breeze?
Sure, I get it. But Kamal Hadden was so interesting this past year because he went from being public enemy number 1 to Tennessee fans, bouncing off of Florida running backs. And
the missed tackles.
The still will never leave my mind from that Florida game last season of the why I oughta, like standing up a Florida player, just the stance with the raised fists. And it is a very funny image at the end of that game. But Kamal Hadden turned his play around and became Tennessee's arguably, outside of James Pierce, best performing defensive player throughout the season until he got hurt and went down. So he went from public enemy number 1 to, this is our best defensive back. This is by far our best cover corner, to being injured out for the remainder of the season. So we'll see if he can pick up where he left off, but that's not a bad scheme to fit into where he can sit behind some guys. And also there was a need there for the Chiefs where I think you'll have a really good shot at making the 53-man roster. So I like it for Kamal Hadden. It feels like Joe Milton has the toughest path forward here.
He's got a new coaching staff, and, from one VFL to another, did you solid, right? A little bit like Gerard Mayo looking around and being like, hey.
Gerard, yeah.
How about the Vols?
Gerard getting his former Vol.
How about the Vols? Here's the thing. Over under 1.5 NFL career starts for Joe Milton.
Oh.
1.5.
Wow. You could put the over/under at 0.5, and I think I'll go under.
I'm
saying I would go under. I don't think Joe Milton never starts
a game where 66, 67 quarterbacks started in the NFL last year, started a game.
Where's Joe Milton in the depth chart?
Oh, no, third easy because Zappy's there. Who else is there?
Brissett.
Oh, that's right. I keep thinking that Mac Jones is still in New England. He's a Jag.
He's a Jag.
That's right, Jake Brisket.
He's just a guy and a Jacksonville Jaguar.
Oh, that's mean.
Yeah, it's Joe Milton will continue to be just one of the more perplexing players to talk about, especially as a Tennessee fan and alum, because you appreciate him so much for sticking around and what he meant to Hendon Hooker, and it just was never there. He didn't take that step that you wanted him so badly to take. I don't know. I don't see Joe Milton starting an NFL game. I just don't. Not with the New England Patriots. Not with the quarterbacks that are in front of him. He's a project, and he's, 24?
Yeah.
So this also, I will say, this needs to be the lowest number of Tennessee players taken in a draft in the Heupel era. Like, it's got to be up from here on out, right? This needs to be and we didn't expect a bunch of Vols names to get called. I saw McCallan Castles, the tight end, picked up as a UDFA by the Eagles. But 3 Tennessee players drafted, not one until the 4th round. It's got to be all uphill from here when it comes to Heupel putting players into the NFL. And you look ahead to next year, James Pierce is already being talked about as a potential top 10 pick.
Well, it's a stars matters type of situation. Yeah. So the same thing that we talked about at a fundamental level with the Tennessee program is, when are you going to start to recruit at an elite level and not just supplementing, needs piecemeal through the transfer portal. Total of 13 players have been drafted since Josh Heupel took over the job. So that's since the 2022 NFL draft for Josh Heupel. And of course, last year, Darnell Wright being the highest drafted member of the Vols to date, with Hendon Hooker going later because of the ACL tear, and also because of the Tennessee offense, the 2 wide receivers going later as well.
Need one of those wide receivers to have a nice season. Jalen Hyatt, Cedric Tillman, Velus Jones was a pretty high draft pick for the Bears, and it just hasn't really happened. And now there's plenty of guys ahead of him on that depth chart. You need one of those guys to make some noise in the NFL, I think. I don't know when it's going to be Hendon Hooker. He's healthy now, but he's behind Jared Goff. It's got to be all up here. Oh.
Breaking sports news on 104.5 The Zone.
I saw him plotting. I saw it.
Well, the Laser Light Show lied, because this is not breaking sports news, but it is worthy of bringing a sports talk. It's worthy of bringing anything, anybody, anywhere, except if you're in your cars, be safe in traffic. Worth bringing this particular show to a screeching halt. The Kendrick Lamar response to Drake has dropped. Have you heard the Drake diss track? Are you unaware of the rap beef?
I'm very unaware. Is something happening between?
You have no idea what's going on. I'm not a pop culture person, but I know what's happening between Drake, between Kendrick Lamar, and J. Cole sitting it out.
I missed out on a lot of stuff. Like, my algorithm is sports and food and like some travel and nothing else. Literally nothing else.
All right. What we're going to do, this is going to be a social experiment. 2 Americas, very much. Lucas is going to listen to the Drake diss track during the commercial break. He is then going to come back with his reaction. Then, in the following commercial break, I'm going to play him the Kendrick Lamar one, because it is just ungodly. It's vicious. There's no coming back. It's unbelievable. RKO. Jackson, are you in on the rap beef?
Sure.
Do you care about rap beefs, Jackson?
I'm in for any beef.
This is the most Caucasian we've ever been in as a show. Come on.
I love Kendrick, but I don't care about who Kendrick's beefing with, though. It means nothing to me.
You don't care that the product is ultimately the result of just unbelievable disrespect between these individuals.
What happened, though? Did something happen? Why do they not like each other? Or do they like each other, and is this like a pro wrestling type of deal?
Well, some of it's to sell.
Can't we all just be friends?
No. This is sports. I want more hatred. I'm famously down on sportsmanship, and I want to hear Kendrick Lamar and Drake just rip each other to shreds, and we'll do that coming up next.
It is lunchtime. It's one of the best times of day. That means Hattie B's should be in your near future. And the good news is, wherever you are in the mid-state, there's going to be one near you, whether it's at Lower Broadway, Melrose, Midtown, Nashville West, the Factory at Franklin, which, by the way, is now open for breakfast at 7 a.m., even the Nashville Airport. If you want to go try the breakfast in Franklin, the classic hot chicken biscuit, crispy hash browns with the Drinking Buddy beer cheese, I'm telling you, you cannot go wrong. Or try one of Hattie B's new wing flock packs, 12 or 18 full jumbo wings. You can pick any 2-quart sides. The pimento mac and cheese, personally, is my favorite. How hot can you go? You can go mild all the way up to shut the clock up. You choose whatever works for you. Hattie B's is a family-run restaurant serving up your favorite Southern food, an authentic Nashville hot chicken. You know it's the best in town. I would not lead you astray when it comes to food. Top it off with some banana pudding or peach cobbler. Want to skip the line? Remember to download the Hattie B's app. Order for pickup. Skip the line. Walk in. Get your Hattie B's famous hot chicken. Head back to the office on your lunch break today. Head to HattieB.com. It is 12 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Lucas Panzica from the 104.5 The Zone studios. The NFL draft is in the rear view. UDFAs are finding landing spots across the NFL, and the Titans reportedly have signed multiple players, such as two from Tennessee in running back Jabari Small and cornerback Gabe Judy Lawley, also a former Vanderbilt Commodore. Titans also reportedly signing Washington running back Dylan Johnson and Texas Tech guard Cole Spencer. In other NFL news, the Kansas City Chiefs gave tight end Travis Kelce a new 2-year contract worth over $34 million, $17 million of it guaranteed for this coming season. The Jacksonville Jaguars have released wide receiver Zay Jones. And the Nashville Predators are in Vancouver tonight. It's Game 5 in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Preds trailed the series 3-1. They are facing elimination tonight. Puck drop is at 9 p.m. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once and your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Welcome into 104.5 The Zone, this final hour for us. We're happy to have you. Titans are filling out the bottom of their roster with some UDFA signings. Luke is going to throw some at me, and we'll talk about potential impact players, guys we should be monitoring as rookie minicamp gets underway next week. Preds have a Game 5 playoff tonight. Elimination game for Nashville in Vancouver. Can they keep their season alive? We'll discuss at length together. 615-737-1045 is the number if you want to jump in. But in the meantime, we did interrupt with breaking news because we're having to educate. Now, Ron Slay has joined the discussion. I almost want to call Slay right now. Right now and have him be our rap beef correspondent in the middle of all this. Because famously, for those of you uncultured people who are not listening to the rap beef and the rap battle right now, like Lucas Panzica, like high-minded individuals such as myself are, diving into the sewers of YouTube and SoundCloud and things like that, got a little rap beef going on between Drake and Kendrick Lamar. Do you think that Kendrick Lamar is a better rapper than Drake?
Yeah, it's not even in the same. Drake's not in Kendrick's stratosphere to me.
I'm sorry. He has, it's literally more hits than the Beatles, Lucas. That's not just a line.
I don't care about Billboard Top 100 hits. Okay. Drake as a rapper.
Because you're a music person, that's why I'm asking you.
Drake as a rapper, as a lyricist, as an artist, not even in the same solar system as Kendrick in my mind. So when I hear Drake-Kendrick rap beef, my assumption is Kendrick completely wiping the floor with Drake. I had no contest. I don't even, is Drake even writing this stuff? Does he even write his own stuff? I'd be surprised if Drake is writing this stuff.
You listen to 50 Push-Ups, which is the Drake-Kendrick diss track, all right? Because you've got people coming out and saying, no top 3, just me, right? Kendrick Lamar, no top 3, just me. So that's Drake, that's J. Cole, that's Kendrick Lamar. Drake gets out there with 50 push-ups, takes down Kendrick Lamar. J. Cole says he doesn't want any part of it. He said he didn't want to be a part of the rap beef, and I was disappointed. I was sad because he's really good, and I think that he could bring some heat, and I think he could really take somebody out. But he's apparently in a better place in his professional career. He's in a higher-minded place. He's removing himself from the squabbles.
Kung Fu Kenny.
Uh-oh.
Oh, who's this?
What is this?
Kung Fu Kenny is all I'm trying to tell you.
What happened? Who is this? Identify yourself.
Man, listen, man. This is the great voice of the culture calling.
It's like we don't have any culture on this show. Famously, we're the only show without culture.
That's not true. We represent multiple different countries, Slay, but
but they're all very white ones.
We've got blind spots.
Pan, I'm trying to figure out how do you not understand what's going on, brother? How does that happen, man?
Slay, I don't even know who is competing in the upcoming presidential election. I don't know who the candidates are.
Okay, this isn't the presidential election, Slay. This is important stuff. Kung Fu Kenny, Kendrick Lamar just dropped the response to Drake on YouTube. We haven't heard it yet. Lucas just heard 50 push-ups for the first time. He's unimpressed with Drake.
Oh, wow.
I'm unimpressed.
It's 6 minutes and 24 seconds. In the K-Dot, Kendrick Lamar diss back to Drake from the 50 push-ups. The 50 push-ups comes on the heels of the song Like That. Future came out with an album with Metro Boomin, and Kendrick Lamar had a verse on there. And he addressed First Person Shooter, which is a song J. Cole and Drake had together that they were going on tour with. So that's how it kind of all started. So he addressed that. Drake came back with 50 push-ups, and it's been about a 3-week, maybe, it feels like it's been 2 months, but it's been probably about 3 weeks.
We all been waiting. We're waiting for the response.
We've been starving. They just dropped it out of nowhere, 6 minutes and 24 seconds, and K-Dot told him in the song, now, this is just a friendly fade. I advise you to keep it that way. So that right there lets you know, let's keep it right there on wax. Let's go at it lyrically, but 6 minutes and 24 seconds is the breakdown. Hell of a response. I give this a rating similar to Ether. When Jay-Z and Nas were going at it, this was a response like Nas had to Jay-Z. And I'm a big Jay-Z fan. But this was it.
All right.
This is how you respond.
So because I treated this like breaking news, I brought the show to a screeching halt. Lucas wants to talk about undrafted rookie free agents, and I'd rather not do that right now. We'll get to that. I swear to God, we'll get to that. But not after I talk about this, because, Slay, this stuff matters. You talk about Jay-Z and Nas like this, when you say that you're the representative of the culture for the show, I think for the portion of the audience that may not understand how embedded in the culture the idea of rap beef is, articulate.
Yeah, this right here is, so when you're talking about sparring and going back and forth and iron and sharpening iron, it's okay to team up. When you look at basketball, it would be similar to the way Giannis Antetokounmpo feels when he doesn't want to work out with other guys. He wants it all to remain competitive. So in rap, in hip-hop, when you have guys sparring, it's kept on wax. It's lyrical battles. Who can have the best punchlines? Who can hit below the belt if need be, but you keep it all on wax. The thing that sent it overboard, which everybody knows, is the Tupac Biggie beef. When you included West Coast versus East Coast, then it spilled over. But before that, dating all the way back to the 70s, coming in through the 80s, all of this is what hip-hop was built on. And it's just competitive jousting, if you will. That's it.
Is rap a sport?
It most definitely is a sport, and it is most definitely an art to it. Now, it does, just like every other art or every other sport, get watered down in certain areas because people take it and abuse it. But the true essence of it is most definitely a sport and art to it.
So I don't want to be dismissive of Drake entirely, because Lucas is right. He's, pop star, not a rock star, whatever. Like this whole aura with Drake at this point in his career, it's a lot of it's not entirely manufactured, because if you listen to some of the tracks where Drake is at his peak, at his prime, he is a really, really great lyricist. Now, to Lucas's point, I don't know if he's writing his own lyrics, his own raps or not at this point in his career, but I don't want to undersell him. You're saying that Kendrick just has blown him out of the water, though.
Oh, this one right here, this response was, it was every bit of an atomic bomb being dropped on Drake. And this is the reason I say that. When you talk about the three figures in hip-hop in this young generation, you would go in no particular order: Kendrick, Drake, J. Cole. Those are the three. They are running the game, without question. You get them on a feature or whatever, it's going to blow it out the water. So for these two to be going at it, it says a whole lot. And I say he bodied Drake on this one because of exactly what you said, bro. He said in the song, now, what I want you to do is continue to make songs that make me wave my hands. I don't need you making songs talking about how bad you are on songs, Drake. Just keep it in that lane. So to Lucas's point, that's what Kendrick is saying. Hey, man, stay right there in your lane. Don't come in this lane. You are a lyricist, but do not walk in this lane because I will body you. And that's what he did.
All right. Do you feel like you've brought more of the culture to this show? Because, again, this is as Caucasian as we've ever been.
Yeah, I'm ashamed, man. I'm ashamed at Penn. I'm ashamed at Jackson. As young as they are, I'm proud of you, bro, for bringing it to the forefront. I salute you, my brother. I can't believe Penn let me down like this.
Slay, I got to be honest. When I hear Drake and Kendrick are in a beef, I'm almost not even interested in the results, because to me, it's like me dribbling for a layup knowing that you are coming in for a chase down block. Like, there's not going to be any, like, you are Kendrick in that scenario.
I would
There's
like to
not,
watch that. Can we do that?
There's no other way that that's going to play out. Like, Drake is not going to best Kendrick in a war of words. It's not, like, that's not even in the stratosphere of possibility for me. So I just dismiss it like, okay, well then, yeah, Kendrick walks all over him. That's what happens here.
But the problem is, over the years, it's gone with Drake's going against Pusha T. He's won. He's gone. Well, I ain't gonna say he won, but he went against Kanye.
He did win against Meek Mill.
Kanye.
Meek Mill.
Yeah, well, he did win against Meek Mill. Drake. I mean, Kendrick addressed. Man, I'm telling you, just go listen to the song. He addressed all of that. He said, "You worried about Pusha P? What about Pusha T?" So I'm telling you, dog. Like this is classic stuff right here. This is classic. It's so much to digest. It's really hard to put it into words right now.
I'm very happy that we did this. So, what did we wake you up from a nap?
No. I'm open. I'm asleep when Kendrick dropped something like this.
A bomb went off. He's in a shelter. He took cover. Ron Slay, 3-6. They had Brian Callahan on yesterday, the Titans' new head coach. A lot of good information. I heard you got some Traylon Burks standing from the Titans head coach. I heard you were screaming into a microphone about it. I don't care. All right, it's me against you on this.
Yes. Yes. Hey, man,
this
you
is
heard
our
the
rap
Traylon.
beef, all right? What happens with Traylon Burks this year is you and I's rap beef, okay?
That's right.
I'm
That's
drawing a line in the
exactly
sand.
right. I'm with that. We're going on each other's shows defending. I'm fine with that. Let's
All
do
right,
it.
when it bricks off his hands in a big game against the Colts, you're going to drop and give me 50, all right, big fella?
Yeah,
That's
but
how this is going to work.
when you see Traylon Burks at camp, you have to tell to his face you are rooting for his downfall then. That's the deal.
And guess what?
Guess
what? And when he makes the big catch like Green Bay and seals the game, let's remember that also.
That's 2 years ago. 2 years
Hey,
ago.
man, I don't care how many years ago it is.
Get out of here.
All right.
Get your ass to the shadows. Ron Slay with us on 104.5 The Zone. Yeah, they did a good interview with Brian Callahan yesterday. They also had J.C. Latham on last week, I believe, on 3HL. So you can go check out podcast. Rand Carthon on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. Obviously, we'll have some good interviews coming up during rookie minicamp because I'll be down there picking them up and talking to these guys throughout the course of the next couple of days. Do you feel like you've been educated, the two of you?
I've learned so much. Actually, not really, though. Not really, because I've learned that Kendrick is a better rapper than Drake, and that's something I already knew. So I guess I didn't learn anything.
Yeah,
other than that it was happening.
Lesson.
Oh, my God. You can't learn how to talk over one another or stop talking over one another? Why
you
is
both
it so
looked
hard?
at me.
Jackson, do you have something to say? You can go ahead and talk.
Oh, good.
We're going to get a silence alarm here.
Go to break.
I was trying to talk.
All right, Lucas is in the middle of listening to Euphoria, the Kendrick 6.5-minute diss track that Ron Slay just broke down for us expertly, 3HL 3 to 6 later this afternoon. Are you surprised? What's your reaction?
No, he destroyed him. He picked him apart syllable by syllable, and it's a masterful work of art, which is what everyone should. There's no other outcome here. Like Drake diss track about Kendrick, and then Kendrick is going to respond. This is the only outcome there was ever going to be, is that Kendrick was going to bury Drake. So, no, I'm not surprised.
Our buddy Jamie Bacalon at Rooted, who listens to the show, DM'd me on Instagram and said, Kendrick buried Drake today, but, Pusha T made Drake raise his own child because of a diss track. So that's also out there too. We should drop in on the culture from time to time. Ron Slay, Minister of Culture around here for the Buck Rising Show. Anyway, in as seamless a transition as humanly possible, Titans have roster holes post-draft. What are they going to do about it? We got UDFAs. Transactions going to continue to fly. They have not put out an official listing of all the different undrafted rookie free agents that they have signed. But we're now into the post-draft free agency. You saw some people start to dip back into the wide receiver market yesterday. Safeties, still plentiful out there. Offensive line, still a need. Guys like Anders Peter are going to be looking around, saying, this is a layup for my agent because all kinds of teams have versatile O-line needs, and he's probably the best available. As you look at the Titans roster right now, well, how do you want to do this? How do you want to work through this exercise?
Okay. I will provide you the position, give you the names that are currently on the Titans roster. This includes draft picks and UDFAs that we know of that have been reported on.
I got my depth chart in front of me. I'm ready.
So I tell you the position group, who is in it. You just tell me the state of that group and if anything more needs to be done there. Okay? Quarterback, Will Levis, Mason Rudolph, Malik Willis.
Good there.
Running back, Tony Pollard, Tyjae Spears, Julius Chestnut, Hassan Haskins. You sign Jabari Small out of Tennessee and Dylan Johnson, star running back out of Washington, as well as Jordan Terrell out of Barton College, was one of the best running backs in Division II last year in college football.
Good there pre-UDFAs.
7 running backs.
You feel pretty solid, but that's about right. Like you're going to come in with numbers at running back, wide receiver, linebacker, tight end. Because guys have to play special teams. You're going to find versatile roles for these dudes. It's not just about what they were as offensive players in college. It's about what else can they do for you? Can they return? All these kind of things.
Dylan Johnson had a fantastic season. His injury in the playoff was a huge factor for Washington after he transferred from Mississippi State. 16 touchdowns last season.
Long story short, I'm good there.
Wide receiver, DeAndre Hopkins, Calvin Ridley, Traylon Burks, Kyle Phillips, Nick Westbrook-Akine. You draft Jaquan Jackson out of Tulane. Trayshawn Harrison is still on the roster. Mason Kinsey, Kieris Jackson, and Colton Dow are still on the roster. That's 10. I have not seen any UDFA additions at the wide receiver position.
Now, Rand said he didn't want to fill up the roster with UDFAs because of post-draft free agency.
Right, that's the point. So there is flexibility here. So the point of this is to figure out where is that flexibility going to be utilized. Is wide receiver one of those spots you could see them adding to?
I could, because of the types of players that are out there. So just kind of quickly, looking at the available wide receivers in free agency on SpotTrack, you've got, and I'm not saying specific to the Titans, but just the names that are out there: Hunter Renfrow, Allen Robinson, OBJ, Tyler Boyd, Michael Thomas, Russell Gage, DJ Chark, Jamal Agnew. Guys who have played offense, who also have other roles that they can fill. Guys who are strictly offensive players at this point in their career. For example, OBJ at 31 is not going to be playing teams for you, one would imagine. Michael Thomas at 31 not going to be playing teams for you. Now those, like a Tyler Boyd, still makes a lot of sense here, doesn't he?
He's going to find a landing spot.
Because NWI, we're treating NWI like a roster lock, and we shouldn't. He's on a one-year deal. There's not huge guaranteed money locked up in NWI or anything like that. He's somebody that you know, somebody that you trust, somebody that your quarterback trusts, and if your roster doesn't look the way that you want it to in week 10, week 15, then if NWI's out there, he's a real easy guy to bring in, and you can supplement your roster that way. He doesn't have to be on the roster week 1. That, I think, is the thing that people are getting caught up in. He doesn't have to be here week 1.
I really like the idea of bringing in Tyler Boyd.
That's what I'm saying.
29 years old.
So I'm for adding players at the wide receiver position. If they haven't done it with UDFAs, they've still got money to spend. They've still got roster holes to fill. I'm okay at wide receiver right now. If I'm the Titans, I'm like, they don't give me the shakes anymore. They don't give me the shakes when I look at the depth chart anymore. But at this point, Tyler Boyd would make me feel a lot better.
Okay, at tight end, Josh Wiley, Chigakonkwo, and Thomas Adekoya still on the roster. The Titans do not draft a tight end, but signed 2 UDFAs and Temple tight end David Martin Robertson, who caught 40 passes for 537 yards and 4 touchdowns last year for the Temple Owls. He was a 6-year college football player. Was in college from 2018 through 2023. And they also had Iowa tight end Steven Stylianos. So that is 5 tight ends, and Rand talked about this position.
I'd take another one, but I think it's probably a vet at this point. Can I interest you in Titans legend, Jeff Swaim? I don't think you need him, but that's the kind of player that you're looking at right now. Tyler Crofts of the world who've played in Cincinnati.
Just what does Jeff Swaim do for this offense?
Nothing in particular, but I'm just saying, like, Mercedes Lewis is 40 years old. That's the kind of player that's out there right now. Robert Tonyan, a little less long in the tooth. Logan Thomas, the son of Brad Hopkins, Bryson Hopkins, also out there. He's a little younger. These tight ends are always interesting because there will be. I bet there's at least one other player at the tight end position brought in.
No, Rand said there will be an announcement there. Do you think he was talking about UDFAs?
I think he's talking about UDFAs.
Okay.
Well, you think he's teasing something bigger?
No, yeah, I figured he was talking about a free agent addition somewhere.
Well, yeah,
a veteran addition.
At this point, like, is I'm not saying Mercedes Lewis in particular, but
there are 5 tight ends, including the 2 UDFAs. How many tight ends did Brian Callahan say they want to bring into training camp? Wasn't it 6?
6.
Yeah. So I would expect another veteran addition, whether it's a Blake Bell or whoever. I don't know.
Is Blake Bell, is that enough to make you perk up the way that you did when Rand Carthon is teasing free agent tight end signings? I'm confused.
No, Buck, we're just trying to figure out where there could be moves made. And I think the fact that Brian Callahan said we want to go into camp with 6, and they currently have 5, including 2 UDFAs, tells you they're probably going to grab somebody. Robert Tonyan, you could do worse than Robert Tonyan.
Agreed.
Wasn't that long? Wasn't he a Pro Bowler like 2-3 years ago?
With the Packers, and then he got hurt.
Yeah, he had he caught like 11 touchdowns. Yeah, had some injuries, and then didn't have much production with the Bears last year. Offensive line. So at tackle, J.C. Latham, Nicholas Petit-Frere, Jalen Duncan, John Ojukwu, and 2 UDFAs are on the roster. There is, I hope I say his name correctly, Zavo Gadlin, the Liberty tackle, who played all across the line at Liberty, and Eastern Michigan tackle Brian Dooley. So that is offensive line. You have 6 tackles, including the 2 UDFAs and your first-round draft pick.
Is Andrews Pete a tackler or a guard right now?
Great question. You probably need him to be a tackle.
He played left tackle last year, and he didn't play it that well because he's been a guard in his entire career, and the Saints injuries made him slide out to tackle. Now, he can do it, but do you need Andrews Pete here as a tackle? What you need is basically what you could have had in, I'm blanking on the kid that played at Western Kentucky that ended up at the Texans. You know who I'm talking about? Former
offensive lineman?
Former Western Kentucky basketball player.
Oh, George Fant.
George Fant came to Tennessee. They offered him a vet minimum contract. He said, no thanks, I think I'm better than your starter at right tackle in NPF. He went down the road to Houston. He got more money because he can play multiple positions and he can start, and he was better than NPF was last year. You need a George Fant. Andrews Pete is probably going to get more money than your George Fant type of player. Previously, he was making an average annual value of $11.5 million. I'm not saying that that's the kind of money he's going to be in for this time around, but you need a cost-effective swing guy, but it's not just about swing tackles now, it's about swing guards too. Now, something that's also out there is Corey Levin. Corey Levin has been in this organization a couple of different times. He has worked with Keith Carter both times. We know that the Titans have seen him as a swing guard center type. Is he somebody that's worth bringing back? Because who is your backup center right now?
Right. And that takes us to the interior guys, because you're right, you don't have a backup center. Lloyd Cushenberry, Peter Skoronski, Daniel Brunskill, Dylan Radins, Andrew Rupchich, Lachavius Simmons, former TSU guy that was picked up by the Titans last season, Sadiq Charles, the former Washington Commander, and you added Texas Tech guard Cole Spencer as a UDFA. I saw Mike Herndon pointing this out on Twitter. Aaron Wilson tweeted the deal. Cole Spencer to the Titans, a deal that includes $10,000 signing bonus with $65,000 of salary guaranteed for $75,000 in total guarantees. And Herndon said, pretty decent guarantee for a UDFA. There is a path to a roster spot for him, so he is the UDFA Mike is most interested in right now.
Yeah, that feels like a fair assessment. You can always tell who they feel the best, who they were competing with other teams for based on the guaranteed money that gets handed out.
So right now at the offensive line, you're looking at what? Center depth and tackle depth.
Yes.
Got a lot of guards.
A lot of guards. And that's fine, because I would like to see somebody push Brunskill. I'm not saying that if it ends up being Brunskill in week 1 or whatever, because of experience or otherwise, that's fine. But I don't want like it etched into stone that Daniel Brunskill is the starting right guard for this team. Nor do I want it etched in stone that NPF is the starting right tackle for this team. I want to see both of those guys pushed as they try and continue to redo this offensive line, and have done good work on the left side in the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, you want them to bring back Jeff Swain. Make that make sense. Defensive line.
Titans legend.
Jeffrey Simmons.
Tight end 1.
Does he make the team, Big Jeff? Yeah, he probably makes it.
Yeah, tight end 1. Yes, he does. He catches touchdown passes.
He could play tight end
1.
100%. Defensive line. Jeffrey Simmons. Tavondre Sweat, the second-round pick. Keandre Coburn, Sweat's former teammate.
I think he's here because of Sweat.
Well,
not because of Sweat.
He arrived last fall.
But I'm saying I think he ends up lasting because of Sweat.
Sure. Space Eater. Sebastian Joseph Day. Shaquille Brown is on the roster. Quentin Bohanna, is on the roster. TK McClendon.
I think TK McClendon's going to make it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
In a 4-3 scheme that we think we're going to see with Denard Wilson?
They call it, they don't necessarily look 3-4-4-3, but I think you could see something similar to what they were doing with Autry last year. Not nearly as athletic or as powerful, right? I think you can see a couple of different uses for that guy.
I did leave out Leroy Watson, actually, when we were doing the offensive line, the tackle.
That's a Madden creative player.
They traded for.
That's not a real person.
Frederick points that out in the F&M Bank chat. That is the one player I left out on the offensive line. They did trade for tackle depth in former Browns tackle Leroy Watson.
And that's somebody who Bill Callahan knows as well.
Yeah. So that's traded a 7th for him. 2 UDFAs on the D-line that have been reported. K-State defensive end Khalid Duke had a career-high 6 sacks last season for the Wildcats, and Rutgers defensive lineman Isaiah Iton. I hope I'm saying his last name right. It's I-T-O-N. It's 9 defensive linemen, including the draft picks and UDFAs.
I think you could find help there. So I'm not saying that they should have anybody taken off their list because of Tavondre Sweat, because it's not like Tavondre Sweat is any kind of known commodity to date at the NFL level. Calais Campbell's out there.
Had a nice year last year at age 94.
He had a really good year in Atlanta. Now, not a lot of people watching Atlanta's defense, but the reason that they were able to make it work, and that coordinator got a better gig out of it, honestly, is in no small part due to the safeties that they brought in and Calais Campbell. Now, that would have to be contract dependent, but that's what the post-draft free agency is for, those kind of additions, those kind of mercenary type players. He is probably more interested in playing for a team that's more competitive than the Titans figure to be. Titans probably playing for, at best case scenario, Titans competing for a wild card spot next year, yeah? In the AFC South? Best case scenario.
Oh, yeah, competing for a playoff spot.
Right, coming into a playoff spot and a wild card spot are different things. I mean, not really.
Pretty much the same.
Not technically, but you understand my meaning. Competing for the division, I guess I should say, versus competing for a playoff spot.
In the F&M Bank chat, Brian wants to bring back Marlon Davidson, the former Auburn D lineman that flashed a little bit last season.
Made a couple of plays, but again, the Titans pressures were so bad. Like they were among the worst in the league, and I know they have injuries in there, but like Marlon Davidson wasn't an impact player. Marlon Davidson is kind of like Rashad Weaver. Like he's out there, and so you start to attach yourself to him a little bit.
Speaking of Rashad Weaver, let's look at the edge position. Outside linebacker, Harold Landry, Arden Key, Rashad Weaver.
Need help.
Caleb Murphy.
Need help.
Michigan draft pick Jalen Harrell. And Thomas Rush. Those are your pass rushers right now.
This is arguably, safety is the biggest hole because they just don't have another obvious starter next to Amani Hooker. But second on that list is edge. You do technically have two starters. You have Harold, you have Arden. We've talked about Arden. Arden in his best version of himself, I think, is a situational pass rusher. Don't think that he's meant to be the kind of mainstay on the outside that Harold has become, right? We're not looking at Arden Key that way. Doesn't mean that he can't still be a very important piece of this if they get the proper support around him, but I don't feel good about the edge group.
We didn't really talk about, we'll talk about Jalen Harrell at some point this week.
We'll get to him on Friday.
He was a very important piece of that Michigan defense.
Well, and I don't want to.
Jim Harbaugh speaks very highly of Jalen Harrell.
We'll save it. Well, Jim Harbaugh said that J.J. McCarthy was, Michael Jordan or something like that. Like, relax, okay? Jim Harbaugh.
Wonder what he thinks of the Kendrick Drake beef.
Jim Harbaugh?
Yeah.
I bet he has thoughts. You see his prison tat?
He probably does have thoughts.
Yeah, prison tat. He's out here with it. It's the
he's got he got a Michigan tattoo.
No, he didn't get a Michigan tattoo. He got an M. It's like an Arial Sans, font M. It's not the Michigan M. It's just an M and, the record. It looks like a prison tattoo. Anyway.
Somebody at V-Love just retweeted someone that said, Drake said, "You ain't Kobe Bryant to us" in a song, and Kendrick tweeted out his diss at 8:24 a.m. See, this is what Kendrick's on a different level. I don't even know why we're acting like this would even be a competition.
See,
okay.
I'm happy that you're here now. 615-7... Wait, we still have more positions.
At linebacker.
Okay.
Cedric Gray, the draft pick out of UNC.
Yep.
Kenneth Murray, acquired in free agency from LA. Dr. Gibby, still around. Jack Gibbons. Otis Reese. JoJo Doman, Luke Gifford, Garrett Wallow.
Who?
And, I also learned about Garrett Wallow today.
He did play a little bit last year.
And James Williams, the draft pick who played safety at Miami, but we're talking about as though he's going to play linebacker here. That is your linebacker room right now. 8 guys.
It doesn't mean that they can't churn the bottom of it, but I really like if the Williams kid takes to linebacker, I feel okay about the group. I don't feel good.
Sure.
I don't feel good about it. There's no reason to feel good about it yet.
If Cedric Gray can handle those duties and make that adjustment physically and allow Kenneth Murray to play freely and James Williams can make, that's a lot of ifs though.
Well, yeah. Here's the thing. If Tavondre Sweat works out and makes life easier on the linebackers that don't like to get physical in your defense. If Cedric Gray then pans out as your starter right away on defense, and if everything goes to plan, and if rainbows and butterflies and all these different things. But
that's all you can do, right? You can plan formulating.
I'm projecting. But the wild card here, I think, is James Williams, because that dude absolutely bangs. Yeah. And I don't know what he's going to be as far as recognition, just because he's a big hitter and a freak of an athlete, just a pterodactyl back there in Miami secondary. I just like the kind of mentality and attitude that a player like that brings. Otis Reese is as big a wild card to me because I do think that he can find a roster spot here. You're playing lighter box type of football. You're ideally trying to win the way that the Ravens won, which is you're going to have 4-man fronts. You're going to do it creatively. It doesn't have to be 4 down defensive linemen or 2 down defensive linemen, 2 edge guys. Like, you're going to get creative with how you deploy these dudes and still allow you to have the numbers advantage in a perfect world in the secondary and allow your linebackers to move side to side because you got the big bodies eating up the offensive linemen up front. I don't feel great about it, but I'm cautiously optimistic.
You know what I do feel great about? The cornerback room.
You could argue that this is one of the better rooms in the league.
13 bodies here. Mike Keith always says you can never have enough corners. Titans are taking that to heart. L'Jarius Sneed, Cheeto Awuzie, Roger McCreary, Trey Avery, Jarvis Brownlee Jr., the draft pick out of Louisville, Eric Guerre, Caleb Farley, Shaheem Carter, though I suppose he could play safety, Tay Gowan, and Anthony Kendall. Now, there are 3 3 UDFA additions at corner. They are Western Carolina cornerback. And I lost his name. The UT corner, Gabe Judy Lawley, former Vanderbilt and BYU transfer. And Towson cornerback, Robert Javier. 13 corners.
Yeah, I'm good on corner.
Including the UDFA's.
I'm all set. If one of you wants to play safety? Anybody?
Well, because you may need a couple bodies there, like we talked about. Amani Hooker.
Read me. You didn't read the entire list of corners.
Who did I miss?
Did you? Did you read the entire list?
Who are you thinking I missed?
Did I hear Caleb Farley?
Yeah.
Okay.
I said Caleb's name.
Okay, I'm sorry.
At safety, Amani Hooker, Elijah Molden, Mike Brown, Matthew Jackson, James Williams. And do we put Shaheem Carter in here?
Yeah.
Okay,
Needs
so
help.
if we do, that's 6.
Needs help.
Yeah, and there's a lot of veteran free agents out there at safety. So I could easily see them make a move there, right? At safety?
Easily.
And
expected.
You do add a kicker at UDFA, Braden Narvison, NC State. He was 18 of 23 last year, along a 57 career.
Well, because at some point, Nick Folk is just going to decide at 45 or whatever he is. No, I think he's 38 right now.
So real quick, corner is the strongest, the deepest position on the team. What is the weakest that we think is most likely to see a move made before training camp?
Edge. I bet they find a vet. It doesn't have to be. Who was the guy from the Dolphins a couple of years ago?
Van Noy was out there.
Yeah, but he went first wave free agency. That was more priority. There's names out there that will be available for the kind of mercenary type of work that the Titans need on the edge right now. Last call for phone calls. If you got them, 615-737-1045. Remember, when you call in, don't tell Jackson where you are. Tell him what you do for a living, because I see some fun ones on the call. On the call screen. This is a much more fun game, because now we're going to go down all kinds of rabbit holes with the calls. We're going to learn a lot about you guys, I feel like. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. Am I playing this out until they say it's going to be May?
You have to wait, yeah.
But it's too long a wait. It's such a long wait.
We have to wait.
This is Joe Hunk's fault.
No, it's not Joe Hunk's fault.
Guys, shut up. Yeah. Yes.
That's such a lame, and this just immediately goes away. God, Jackson running scared from the music industry. No, get out of here. Get out of here. We're going to get fined. Stop it. NSYNC, very litigious. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Famously.
Notoriously litigious.
We don't know that all 5 of them are doing well in life. They're going to come for the money, all right?
One of them is, for sure.
And on a switch, yeah, one's doing okay. Last call for phone calls, 615-737-1045. New rule on the show. When you call in, you don't give us where you're calling from. You give us what you do for a living. It's a much more fun game. I don't know how the hell it took us 3.5 years to figure out this game. Kyle is a termite technician, and he's up first.
What is going on, guys? I'm a termite technician. Yep.
Love it.
That's what y'all heard me doing yesterday with the auger. I was digging trenches.
I didn't.
Amazing.
But see, this is why I'm now. But now this is going to get rid of the Oscars music because I have follow-ups. I didn't realize that termite technician required heavy machinery.
Oh boy, we do all kinds of home installs, not just termite. We do prevention too. Anywho,
okay.
Let's talk football, man. All right. Why is Pete not on this team yet? As bad as our line has been for the last 2 years, I just don't see the reason. I don't care if he wants $10 million, give it to him.
Well, I appreciate the call, Kyle. So he's talking about Anders, Pete. The only reason he's not, he took a visit and probably didn't think that the money was good enough the first time around. Now he's going to be the belle of the ball. It's a better situation for Anders, Pete. The reason he's not on the roster is because he don't want to be. So he'll find the best financial situation at this point in his career. He'll find the team that's willing to pay him starting caliber money, even if he's just a swing. And he'll probably start, 12 to 15 games for a team in some form or fashion, whether it's at one position, left tackle or right guard or whatever the case may be. But that's why. It's not just the Titans, it's whomever. Now, you can stuff him full of as much money as you want to and make him say no to you, but that's what the post-draft free agency process is about. It also plays into the hands of the safeties. The safety market's still pretty saturated. All right, we ready, Poles?
The Buck Rising Show's almost done. Yeah. We have come to this portion of the program where we update the poll. Yeah.
Settle down, Beavis.
Go ahead, update them, Buck. Buck.
We're gonna score.
Buck.
Buck doesn't update the polls, dummy. You're stupid.
Yeah. Time for a poll update. Hey, how's it going, man?
You said poll.
Yeah. Lucas Panzica. Yeah, are you threatening me? I am the great Cornpolio.
Hey, Lucas, can you update the poll? Lucas, give us the deets, dog.
Before we do that, the poll is presented by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. One of our friends, Mike Herndon, has texted me. He said, Buck, catching up on the show from yesterday and have to tell you that there's a 0.0% chance you can run a 5.240. He doesn't believe me.
What's more likely, that Buck runs a 5.240 or that the Titans bring back Jeff Swaim, like Buck suggested? What in sports made you say, oh no, this week? Brian says the Predators. I had not seen this move, but Jim says Jonas Adu to Arkansas, and that is true. Jonas Adu is transferring to Arkansas to play for Coach Cal. I do have a late submission. You know my roommate, Blue. He tried very hard. He had a discount code to buy tickets to Game 3 at Bridgestone. So he went onto the site, was using the discount code. It wasn't working. He tried like 5 times. Finally, it reloaded. He got it to work. He clicked on the option, Home Game 3, bought the tickets, checks to add them to his wallet. Oh, they won't be available until May 2nd because it was called Home Game 3. They meant the third home game.
Oh, no.
He kept calling back. That was his reaction. He kept calling back. He said that the box office lady said, yes, it is very misleading, and it is, quote, not his fault, but they cannot refund his tickets. Preds blow Game 4. They're down 3-1 in the series. Blue doesn't even want to go to the game on Friday if they even get out of Vancouver and bring the series back to Nashville.
Oh, my God. That's such a dirty trick.
Home Game 3. Come
That's
on, man.
Gross.
Anyway,
do we want to name names? Who was the ticket broker?
I don't know. I don't know if it was a thing like an NHL thing.
We don't have anybody that spends money on the show like that. We'll take somebody out. Let's go.
I don't know exactly what the site was.
All right, Blue, you let us know. We'll rough them up for you.
Do you care if a rookie wears the green dot for the Titans? 92% say nope, don't care.
Can he play?
Yeah.
Is he a body? Does he do things better than Dr. Gibby?
Which Tennessee player was drafted into the best fit? 76.6% say Jalen Wright, 16.6% say Kamal Haddon, 6.8% say Joe Milton. The answer is Jalen Wright with the Miami Dolphins. What is the biggest roster hole left on the Titans? Chef Rand says safety. Sean says safety and edge rotation. A lot of people saying safety. Most people saying edge.
It feels like edge to me, man. It's very, very thin after Harold. It doesn't make you feel good.
Those are the polls.
That's the show. Appreciate you guys hanging out. We will have more Morgan Wallen tickets to give away tomorrow for the dumbest thing in sports this week. So if you missed out today during Oh No, we will have that tomorrow at 11 o'clock. What else do we have tomorrow? We have anything in particular we need to tease?
Dumbest thing in sports this week.
Okay, very good. That's Lucas. Jackson helped today, too, I guess. I don't know what we did. I don't know if it was any good. I think Mike Felder was probably the best thing, and then Ron Slay saved us from being too white. Blaine and Mickey are coming up next.